The views and opinions expressed in this program are solely those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Beneath the Cowl podcast, Cosplay Alliance, our partners and affiliates. This episode may contain coarse language and sensitive subject matters. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Hi. I hope you enjoyed our last stream. I promise this one's actually going to be a stream and not just us messing up. But I really can't actually guarantee that. So I am Avera Cosplay, and I actually have a bunch of amazing foam smiths and artists and makers here. I'm going to introduce them one at a time. I'll quickly introduce myself. I don't do stuff good. Technology repels me because I'm old. I have been making stuff for a while, and I compete and I make stuff out of foam and I glue my hands together. And I'm probably suffering from some sort of nerve damage from all of the contact cement that I inhale. And that's pretty much me in a nutshell. But let's get to the people who are much better at making stuff out of foam. I will say that we do want this to be educational, so that we will probably be talking about some of the things that you need in order to get started with cosplay, armor work, and making things out of foam and foam smithing, covering the basics from patterning, hopefully, all the way down to painting and stuff like that. However, I will say that we all are insane, and some of us have been drinking White Claws for the past hour. So the chances of it getting derailed and getting super spicy and fun is also very likely. So without further ado, I will bring up my first guest here. This person kind of doesn't need an introduction. If you have ever wanted to get into foam smithing and you've ever wanted to work in foam armor, you probably started with Evil Ted Smith.
Hi.
Kind of the godfather of foam smithing, and such. So, Ted, do you want to just kind of give a quick intro to yourself? I'm sure you've done.
Hi, guys. Evil Ted here, aka Evil Ted. Yeah, I started a YouTube channel almost like 10 years ago. I spent years working in the industry, making costumes and props, and I think the cosplay community brought the fun back for me. I was in the industry doing movie props and stuff, but I started off in foam when I was really, really young. And there's some of my stuff. These are as a space helmet I did because I always wanted a space helmet because I loved them. So it's a skydiving visor. You can get that. I have the pattern on my website. But what it was, I just got into cosplaying and making videos because I felt that I came from an industry where technique was something that was gated and kept. And it irritated me and angry because every time I go to a different shop and somebody had a technique, they're kind of like coveted with it. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like, I always feel that's an insecurity in people, but I think what ended up happening was I had tons of knowledge. So I want to make videos so I could take the learning curve out of it for you. So all my failures can be your education. So you can make videos, make your own stuff. Because when it gets down to it, making stuff, when you see the finished product, you're really intimidated. But if you see what it takes to make it, it's really actually practical and very, very simple. So my mission is to take the intimidation out of making your own stuff and doing it yourself. So that's been always what I've always wanted to do with people. It's fun, guys.
It is fun, and we're going to all be on screen in a second. I'm going to introduce everybody else one at a time. Ted, you are just the anchor. I think everybody who starts with foam starts with you. So
just really quickly, I'm old and don't like technology either, and I struggled just to get here. So again,
I think you had it figured out more than I did.
I failed a lot and learned. That's how I got here.
So. This is the motto. We don't do stuff good. All right. Thank you, Ted. Next up, I have somebody. Oh, Charmanda Cosplay. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah. So I'm Charmanda. I have been cosplaying for about probably 10 years now. I compete. I basically specialize in making like armor that's too big for me or props that are way too big for me. So yeah, that's me.
She does amazing work.
Yeah.
But you've won a lot of things, right? So you've done like
yes.
You won at Hallmat a lot. You win a lot there. Best armor.
Me and my duo, we compete together at Hallmat. So we won WCC in 2022. Yeah, 2022, and we did the Sisters of Battle.
Yeah.
This thing.
And you and you represented the U.S. across seas, correct?
Me and my friend Abra went to Netherlands for the cultural exchange, and then last year, me and we did a skit for GCOF, and we came runner-up.
Awesome.
Wearing the Monster Hunter armor.
Yeah. I love it. And she is really small, so all armor is actually too big for her.
I'm
so.
4'10". Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Let's see who we have next here on stream. I'm going in order. Oh, hi.
Hello.
I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm completely normal. Hello. Hello, everybody. I am Gnoza Costuming, also known as Brittany. I make lots of armor. I do sewing. I do a lot of painting. My style is very specific, kind of like graphic, very different. And people usually know me for that. I have a white claw. I compete a lot. That's like the smallest icon ever. Yeah, I do a lot of competitions and stuff. It's been a minute since I've done a competition. I won TwitchCon in 2022. So that's probably like my biggest thing that I've done. I've represented the US a couple of times. Tons of competitions. That's like the thing that fuels me more or less, because if I don't have that deadline, I don't want to make anything.
Well, the other thing that's really great about you is that you've moved more into the judging, right? So you judged the Crown Championship of Cosplay, the finals, the World Finals twice, right? I believe.
Yep, I have. Yep. And I really, really love doing that. I love competing as well, but like I don't have as much time to put into giant, ridiculous builds that take like 3, 4, 5, 8, 10 months right now. So I'd rather just like judge if I can. I love still doing big builds and stuff, but don't always have time for it.
Awesome. All right, who's up next? Okay, we have Freakish Workshop.
Hello.
You heard the. I'll let you introduce yourself. You heard the.
Ted was wearing a helmet, so I had to wear my helmet as well.
Oh, sorry.
Hi, my name is Freakish Workshop. I am foamsmith. I do comic book costumes with armor. I try and blend comic book kind of the fantasy. The best example would be a Green Goblin cosplay that I've been doing recently. A lot of people have loved that. It's a combination, I think, of the classic kind of purple and green with kind of a modern military take on it. But I also do what Ted does, which is I make, sell, and create template tutorials on YouTube. There we go. There's the Goblin. One of which is this Special Forces helmet with the night vision goggles. Mine just happened to come down and create the panorama night vision goggle scope. And then because Avera told me to promote myself, I just finished work. See, I gotta figure this one out. I just finished working on this piece of body armor. It's funny how that works. How go on a podcast and talk about body armor, and you just finish a body armor template. So, but yeah, I do Etsy and YouTube tutorial stuff for templating. That's really what I would say is my my specialty. Not on the level that Ted does it. Ted's got that professional side of it to him, but definitely
you are doing this professionally.
Yes, that's true. Yes, I've been doing it for a few years on Etsy, and it's been very good to me. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's Freakish Workshop for you.
Awesome. A lot of people, I think, out there, the ultimate dream is to eventually somehow do this for a living. Speaking of someone who does this for a living, actually, literally does it for a living.
Hi.
Makes foam armor for a living. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi.
Stream with you.
Really
I don't like you that
than I
much.
was before. Oh yeah. My name is Holtzclaw Cosplay. I go by Gage. That's my first name. And I've been cosplaying, I don't know, maybe 10, 11 years now. I kind of focus on sci-fi armor builds, futuristic stuff, video game stuff. But now I've ventured more into, and Nicole doesn't believe me, but I consider myself semi-retired. My back hurts. I'm tired. But I do love building. Building is like my passion. I love building suits. I love building suits for other people so much until I eventually have brought it into my own like studio commission aspect. I have an Etsy store an online website, and now for about 6 years now, I've been doing that full time. I do have a full time job, but they're both kind of full time, and now I'm transitioning into doing this full time. It has gotten to that point where I feel comfortable doing it, and I love doing it. I love building, and I love doing commission work and seeing my work with other people wearing it and doing it as a job. I love doing that.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Holtzclaw. Bye.
Bye.
And last but not least, a man who loves cosplay, Samir. Oh, we can't hear you, bro. Oh no.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
Okay.
sorry. I have just woken up. Please forgive me. It's 4:30 a.m. here, and I'm kind of dazed.
Samir is
Hi.
in India. Thank you so much for waking up this early to talk with us.
Oh no, of course. Like it's. Thank you for asking me to be here. Like it's a really great honor. Uh,
Intro yourself.
Hi. I'm Samir Tikka Masala. I'm a cosplayer from India, and I also absolutely love competing in costume, and I think that's what got me into it. Like I have been competing for close to like 11 years. Like the first time I cosplayed, I was competing. Like actually made my first costume for a competition, and I've got the bug ever since. And yeah, so I have been competing in India for, like I said, 11 years. I have won a lot of competitions back home because it's very easy to win competitions here. And yeah, recently I've also competed and won in international competitions. I've been to C22 twice, where I competed with Ginoza once, and then she judged me the next time. And now I judged the last edition of C2E2, which was a really like a great moment for myself. And I also work in the film industry back home in India, and I make stuff for like TV show, movies, and advertisements and stuff. So yeah, and I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for calling me.
Absolutely. Thank you. And if you don't know like what we're talking about when it comes to like the Crown Championships or stuff like that, it's basically like the biggest contest that you can be a part of. Everybody's here.
Yay!
Hi.
Look at this. This is just gonna be come pop it up. But yeah, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, yes, cosplay is for all. You do not have to compete, but the people who take this very, very seriously tend to kind of somehow get themselves wrapped up in competing.
I love the,
Once you compete, you have to compete. Then
yeah.
you know.
I just love the Brady Bunch. I love the Brady Bunch thing, so I can point down to the freakish work really quickly to the freakish workshop. You build, you make money. You're a professional.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
That's it. Well done.
Mhm.
So
Can't argue with that.
if you make a living at what you do, technically that is considered a professional. So, sir, you're a professional.
So let me tell you, I got a check from Amazon for $1.44, and I
Get it.
let's go. All right. So Armor 101. I'm going to start off with this question because, you know, as people who are looked up to in this space, you know, people start Googling foam, they'll find you, right? And most of us, people don't know this about makers, but we answer questions. Like if you, unless the question is like, how do you make foam? You know,
How do you do that?
how do you do that? You know, unless it's like broad, we will answer your question. So what is the most frequently asked question that you get from, you know, fans, viewers, whoever, about foam armor making?
How do you do that?
Like this.
Yeah, how do you
You
do
really
that?
can't do that.
How do you
Did you
do
make
that?
that?
Did you make? Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and this is like, because I will tell you, makers will talk to you, but do not come at them with how do you make foam armor? Because I'm just
that's
gonna
not specific enough.
Well, so I'll say this. Me and Ted might have a different answer because I would just say go to my Etsy and go to my YouTube, and we have tutorials and we've
That's
got
true.
patterns.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, absolutely. I've yet to have that question asked of me.
I just did MOE or TED.
How do you do
Well,
that?
I have the same answer. I also say that go to Evil Test channel and you can find it
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Same answer.
The
Well, I
access
said
to
of the
technology is
Anyway,
it's so much different
really
now.
quickly, I just want to say when people always I get all the time is, hey, you should build this. And I'm always like, if you were passionate enough to write to me to tell me about the thing you want to build, then you should do it. It's like, I like the fact that you think that I'm going to do it. Like it's like, it's always like people want you to have the passion for something they love. And I'm always trying to tell them, no, I build the crap. Build the crap of the stuff. It makes me passionate. That's why, the things I build, I'm really good because I'm passionate about that. But if somebody will write to me and say, you should do this character, I'm like, dude, the idea that you actually went to the trouble to burn the calories to write to me to say that, you should take that energy and make it yourself. Because I'm not going to do it.
Right.
You can.
True.
I get that a lot. You should make this.
Yeah, I get
that.
specific. Like, do you have body armor? Do you have this armor? Do you have that helmet? And I just go, nope. And like, sometimes I'll be completely honest and just go, I have no interest in doing that. Like, there's tons of other people. I'll try and get them a link to someone who's done it, maybe, because there's just some amazing template makers out there.
Right. And, exactly.
But yeah, it's usually specific requests that someone wants you to do, and not realize that you've done like how many hours of R&D go into one helmet.
Yeah.
That, like, for example, the Evil Ted helmet that most of us start on. I can't even imagine how much R&D went into just developing the shapes and everything. And now we all kind of take it for granted, right? So
thank you, because that was the thing that when I got started to cosplay, and again, like 10 years ago, I left my job and got on YouTube because I wanted to bring the fun back. And everybody was making foam armor, but people were buying helmets. And the day when I started, people would buy pre-existing helmets and stick things on them. And I kept thinking, wait a minute, why don't you just go one step further and make a foam helmet?
Yep.
And that's what kind of launched me, was making that simple video. But what I've done now, like, it's old hat now. I love it that tons of people done it. It's like, the trick is out of the bag. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. And I love the fact that it's open knowledge now. You just take foil and duct tape and make a pattern.
But it's not common knowledge. You'd be surprised. Like,
okay.
I had a girl once. She's like, I don't understand how you get your boob cups, and she had like a 6-inch foam, or 6 millimeter foam, and she's just trying to warbler it over like a boob cup. And it's like, because people don't know. They don't. They don't. It's not necessarily as widespread as you think. When people are like, okay,
thanks for educating me. You're absolutely right, because I do live in a bubble. Because I just hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
So,
pretty much. People are always asking about helmets, I feel like, and and they just can't get their mind around it. Like, they can kind of understand, like, besides boob cups, they can kind of understand, like, you wrap to make a bracer, or like you can basically wrap your body to make, a breastplate or whatever. But helmets, people always ask about still.
Oh, really quickly. Hey, Samir, how you doing, buddy?
Also, hi, Samir.
I want to say hi, because Samir, when he came through, he stayed with me for a couple of days. We got to hang out, and he got to experience Halloween with me. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, wow.
Were you a cowboy?
He never did Halloween before, so I took him and my daughter out. We all went trick-or-treating.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
I was the parent because Ted and his daughter were like cosplaying, and I did not have a cosplay like which I can walk around in. So I was basically just dressed as a normal civilian. So it felt like that I was the parent and these two were kids who were like trick-or-treating, which was absolutely amazing.
You should have done like the American thing where you just like make something quick like the hour before, because people do that all the time.
Oh yeah, probably next time.
Yeah, exactly.
If I may,
go ahead.
Sorry, no, go for it.
No, I was gonna make a joke. It wasn't that funny. Go ahead.
No. Now it's even funnier because it's not a joke now. I was going to say, so I'll just do some shameless self-promotion yet again.
Yes.
I actually started a YouTube series called So You Want to Be a Cosplayer, where I talk to people in particular. I did a few episodes where it's just me and my opinions on the broader group of cosplayers, but then I went in and narrowed, and even I talked to Avera Cosplay about cosplay competitions in particular, and tried to get a ground level look at sewing cosplays, foam armor, or just armor in general with CJ Prop Studio. A bunch of amazing cosplayers that are like specific topic conversation podcasts. So if you're interested, or you know someone who may want to get into cosplay but doesn't know where to start, that series does exist on YouTube now. So it's under my name, under my channel, and you'll just see it. It's So You Want to Be a Cosplayer. So I saw that need, and I decided to put my little like stamp on it, and maybe it'll help someone. But
my episode was called "How to Lose Gracefully in Cosplay Competitions."
I feel like I need to watch that episode because
when you see certain people in line at a competition, you're like, well, it was fun.
No, I get that. I get that.
Really quickly, Freakish Workshop. I just want to say a big shout out. I love it because I'm doing exactly the same thing. It's funny you say, because I'm actually working on a series of videos called How to Start Cosplay. It's like,
there we go.
Right. I've been doing it for so long that you're absolutely right. I got to the point where you realize that as big as it is out there, it's still very new to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go back to the older videos that I used to do and just basically revamp them of like basic tools, basic gluing, because you're right. It's like, I think when people type in now, I want to start cosplay, they get overwhelmed with 3D printers and laser cutters. And it's like, all you need is your 2 hands and imagination and a cutting mat and some basic tools. You really do. It's,
Well, I would rather work with foam. Like, and like we could talk about patterning, because I think that is something that, like, I've been to so many conventions. I've done so many Armor 101 panels. And I think that the thing that is always glossed over, they talk about gluing, they talk about sealing, but they never really talk about patterning, I think, enough.
Seriously, yeah.
Because you can't do anything. You can't do anything if you don't know how to pattern, right? Like, and you can download. I mean, you can download Camoe's thing, and if you're her exact size, it's going to work out for you. But if you want, or you scale it up, but when you scale patterns up that you buy,
they're not
scaling
right.
in all dimensions. So now you're like, and I know that there's like someone like Charmanda has a very different, has the same problem on a different scale than I do, right? Like, she's got to go small and in, and I got to go bigger. So, I mean, what is your approach to patterning? Like, everybody does it differently. Like, Gage, you haven't really said much, and I know you like freehand everything, right?
I
like,
do. It's scary, but I am a big freehander. Yeah, I do a lot of freehand. I'm very good with looking at stuff and like, I don't know. It's hard. It's one of those things you can't explain. I just do it because it's how I've been doing it. I'm sure we all have things that we're like, oh, I just do that. And that's one of the things, talking about like the first question that you were talking about, where it's like someone asks you, and like there's so many things you've instilled into your process to, you're like, you don't know how to explain it. So you kind of have to like take a step back and go, all right, if I'm teaching somebody this, how do I approach that? So like with patterning, like I am a big freehander. So when that question gets brought up, I'm usually like, well, I just do it this way. And I'm like, well, wait, I can't. That's not how I can't teach it like that, because that's just something I've been doing. But patterning is very specific, and it's something that it's not like you can just learn it like that. Like, you have to learn the do's and the don'ts and how things work, and it's very specific to your body. So patterning for telling someone versus someone else, they're 2 different sizes. If someone's really tall or really short, the answer is going to be different, because you can't explain it the same way. So it's very specific to who you're telling how to pattern, but it's one of those things that it's just got to learn over time. And there's basic tutorials, and you can take those and apply them to you, but it's so specific to your body shape too, and like just learning a way that works for you.
When you're starting,
I think a big thing is, sorry.
No, I'm just saying, when you're starting, it should be your focus, working with patterns, even just working with 3 ones, or
that takes the longest time. Yeah.
And honestly, even just doing it. No, go for it.
Oh, okay. I always tell people to just start small. Like, I don't want someone to be like, let's do a full armor set immediately. I usually tell people to start with a pattern like that already exists. Or I always suggest the duct tape dress form, which most people already do. For people who don't know, you saran wrap your entire body. It's a 2-person job, and then you have the other person just duct tape the entire thing. 2 layers is good, and that gives you a shape you can work on that's in front of you, that's not on your body, which really, really helps, especially if you can't visualize very well, or doing something on yourself is a little bit more difficult. But I also freehand, so like, again, it's just something that I just do. and I don't really
Yeah.
think about it. But like
Me
when you're
too,
just
yeah.
starting, you can't expect a full armor set to come out of your beginner mindset. It's just not realistic.
Just as a matter of fact, I couldn't agree more, because it's when people always come, I'm always like, consider when you're building a costume as a journey, and each time you have to cross a bridge on this journey, and you start with this. It's always start with the smallest thing first. Build your shoulder, and then you work your way from that. Do your forearm, then your butt, and it's so funny because by the time you get to the third or fourth part, you picked up the abilities so much better that you'll go back to the first two parts you made, and you'll actually remake them. It's that thing of getting better with the material, but it's that it's that pushing yourself over that hump of starting. I always tell people, like, oh, where do I start? You start by just starting. It's the intimidation of
Anything.
It's not going to be perfect. I always tell people there's no such thing as perfect. Everything I built, I've done 3 or 4 times before to get it the way I like it. But man, people, just don't be afraid to start, because once you start, it gets easier. I do workshops, and people are like, you make cutting look so easy, and I said that's because I do it a lot.
Yeah.
Well, and I think one thing to do, and this is something that for me, I'm not saying this like it's something special, because I know some people can and some people can't do it, but I can take images and rotate them in my head and have a 3D image of it, so I can look at the back and the front and the top and the bottom. So something that I like to do to practice templating, that I tell people to do because it's super accessible, find an image on like Pinterest or Google, buy a $2 stylus on the dollar store, and draw out shapes of masks. And you would just see, you can just see that the helmet will break into different shapes. And then what you do is you do that over and over and over again. And you realize that, okay, heads need to curve a certain way, and you start to get that in your head. And it slowly just becomes like everyone here is saying, you just sort of know how to build a head, the dome of the head. And then there's the face of the difference. But then okay, well, I need to do, a 45-degree turn instead of whatever turn to get this angle in particular. But just practice drawing shapes on helmets. You don't have to make the helmet. You can just sketch, and just getting to know those shapes and those curves will start to kind of build that into the language of your templating and make it that much easier to start. And I freehand as well. So it makes it easier as you do it.
Freehanding, like, I get that. That's so cute. And I wish I was like a board.
You like don't get it?
But I've also seen Gage try to make a corset, and it's not.
All right, well, look, and see, that's when it comes down to like learning your body and like shape.
Well,
Yes.
One thing what I did as a beginner was I would buy the camo pattern just to see what the cuts were, and then I would wrap myself in duct tape and try to mimic the same how many cuts I had, but on me. If you don't know duct tape, you wrap yourself in cellophane, you wrap yourself in duct tape, and then you draw on it. Camo has a lot of tutorials on that, but for women, you really do need complex shapes. I mean, Amanda, I know you as a woman probably are like, okay, I want my boob. Like, doing a boob cup is not the same as doing a flat chest.
That's
no,
true.
It's
true.
I still struggle with boob cups. I mean, it's so hard to understand the concept of how. And every time I make a breastplate, I just look at it and I'm like, how do I do that? For the longest time, I was doing Warbler boob cups because it was the easiest thing to do with the ball.
This is my boob cups shaper.
Is that your boob?
This is my around the same. I found this at Target. This is kind of my size, and this is what I shape my faux boob on.
This is my boob.
I'll be the first to admit I am so damn lazy. People find this hard to believe. If I can find a pattern close to what I want, I'll get that and modify it. And so when people start off, it's really great just to get some of these a pattern, and you add to it. And this big Warhammer helmet I built, the only reason I made it is because I wanted to make it. I couldn't find the pattern. If I found the pattern, I wouldn't have made it. I would just downloaded somebody else's pattern. So since I had to make it, I thought, well, I better make a video. I'll make a pattern about it. But the only reason it's so great that people don't realize in chat, people can talk to us. It's so great. I love this. You can see the bottom.
I know. This is a hot take right here. Look at this guy coming in.
Oh, I see that.
What'd you say?
I
have a lot to say about cosplay competitions because I love them so much. So
I mean, we could break off.
We could literally talk about only cosplay competitions the entire time.
That'll be another stream.
It would literally be the whole time.
All right,
So
I'll get to hot takes in a minute, like down the
okay.
line. I have a couple different hot like topics. One is like armor versus sewing, so we could chat about that. But I do want to give people like some kind of like armor 101, right? And I think patterning basically start with a pre-existing pattern and just get used to altering it to your body.
Right.
Work
I
with the
always
different.
suggest people to like start with a prop because I think
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
That's what I
That's
suggest.
a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
start
understanding
small.
understanding
Good
how
idea.
to like the biggest problem with working with foam is like because I like people tell me like whenever like so I love making organic shapes a lot. Like that's basically my like whenever I choose a costume, if I see there's like a lot of like weird curves going on in the costume, like that really excites me. So and people are like, oh, this is so complicated and everything, and I tell everyone like I know people are like, oh, like the work is so good and like I don't know how to make this, and working with foam is so easy,
Oh, so
right?
much
It's like that's why we love working with it because it's so easy. You just need to understand the material first, like
Yep.
how much you can bend it and like where you need to cut it and where you can just heat it and like curve it, shape it and everything. So I like that's how I started because like when I started I actually like I didn't know anything. I just found like one like a photo online where like someone was using foam. We don't even have like foam accessible to us, so like it took me like 3 weeks to ship foam from somewhere to like try it for the first time and everything. So and so I like my first few like things that I make were all props, and at that time I had like dial-up connection. You know, this was back in 2009 or something, and I had dial-up connection. I did not have access to YouTube. Like I had access to YouTube, but I could not load a video. So like so that's why like I just made a few props to figure out like how this material works. And once you understand once you just understand how foam works, then everything just clicks and it's so easy figuring out everything after that. And like as everyone said, like if you are a beginner, my recommendation would like exactly be just like take some patterns from online and just copy paste them, like just like see
Yeah.
a video and just replicate it once, because if you do it
Mhm.
once you understand exactly how to make stuff. And yeah, that's how it's been for me. I mean, like now I think no one else talked about it, so like I do all my patterning digitally now. It's just like it's just like a natural progression of work for me, because like I've been working a lot for the industry, and like I make like really complicated, like I said, like my thing is that I make like complicated shapes, which is basically just like like it's just if you there's like two types of things there's two ways you can basically make a foam armor. One is like building up, which is basically you get a flat shape and then you can stack it up with like different layers of details and details and details, where I basically like to make like a lot of shapes which are like valleys and mountains and everything. Like if you see my Naria's costume, I don't have a piece with me, unfortunately. I
It's a
just
lot
woke
of
up. I'm not
beveling.
prepared.
It's a
Yeah.
Yeah,
buttload of beveling.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a buttload of beveling. So like doing something like that freehand would take like years. Like I don't think so. Like the two costumes I made, like Inarius and like Xenos, would practically be like it took me 3 months to make it. Someone doing it freehand would take like 8 months, because there's like so much planning required to there's so much planning. Like you can do
Eh.
it with foam clay, sure, like you can do it with foam clay,
You've
but
seen the stuff that I do. You know
Oh,
it
there it
doesn't
is.
take that long.
no, of course, of course.
Are those
No, but
so are you like undercutting the bevels or are you actually
no,
dremeling them? Like are you doing
no, I undercut it. I undercut. Like I pre-plan everything online. It takes me more time to make the templates and everything.
Then it does to
Uh,
cut it out and shape it.
and yeah, that like just like cutting it out, like in for like say example for my Xenos cosplay, it took me 1.5 months to just make the patterns
Yeah.
on the computer, and then I built the whole thing in a month.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like I think like that Pepakura I think is a really 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 great tool for beginners, because I think it eliminates the need to understand the shapes in the start, because you can just find like so many Pepakura templates online, and then you can just like copy paste them and see what's happening, and then slowly you build the understanding of how shapes work.
If people
Yeah.
don't know what Pepakura is, it's basically paper art.
Yeah, it's
Ultimately,
like a
what you're
Japanese.
doing,
Yeah.
yeah, what you're doing with armor is you're taking a flat sheet of foam and you're trying to figure out how to cut it and manipulate it to be a 3D object, right? So, like that, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, that's what you're doing. And we talk about undercuts we're talking about creating a 45-degree angle to come to
Right.
things. I do that a lot because I like to use things right off the line art. So like, I do a lot of Zach Fisher. I'll just take like a W and then I'll just cut it into like pieces and like kind of like there's math. Just like
people-
sewing, there's math.
Right. When people come to me, people always just say, when I make a pattern, they go, where do you cut your darts? And I always tell them, when you make like a foil template or something off of something, you put it on the table, you look at it and you realize you want to take that curve, you want it to lie flat. So you kind of look at the pattern and realize you make a cut here, cut it till it lies flat. So basically, you're basically taking something that was curved and you're trying to figure out how to make it flat. So you just keep cutting. So in the beginning, when I first started,
Yeah, till it's flat.
Yeah, so
so it's
So
flat. So and again, I've been
you
making
get it eventually.
Is it
we'll
flat?
get it eventually. The
Not to
problem
talk
is
about moves again, but like
Will it blend?
I do the dart cut method.
so
I-
you'll
yeah.
figure it out. And sometimes I'll change my darts. I'll make some and go, oh, I don't like the way the seams are on it. So you remake it again and make the darts a different place.
Yeah, and
But
there's not
it's
really a
all-
wrong answer.
No,
You can kind
there's
of
just
just do it
what
how you
works,
want to do
yeah.
it.
What works for you, right? Exactly.
Yep.
And
All right.
Should we answer this question?
Oh,
Should we
is
just
it quick?
answer it really quick?
what question was
The
that?
cosplay competition one?
Yeah, the cosplay competition one.
right.
Let's.
I'm out. I'm out.
Yes.
All right. We won't
Was
have to
actually-
spend all day on it. We can make it quick.
I was actually gonna say that, like, so, like, for you guys, like, the questions were different. For me, questions like when you were asking the first thing, right? Like, what is the thing that people ask you most? Like because when I started, most of the time in India, people would ask, like, why do you do this? Like, why are you cosplaying? That was the general question. And now, like, in the past 3 years, like, is this 3D printed? Like, that's the question that I get all the time. Like, is it 3D printed? Whenever I make, and it makes me really happy
Nothing
when a
wrong
foam
with
prop gets identified as a 3D print. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so go for it, Brett.
All right.
Lay in.
All right. Do you think that cosplay competitions create a level of elitism within the community, pitting cosplayers against each other for a prize? Does it create a divide between cosplayers? Okay. I think that the cosplay competing community is awesome. In the US specifically, because I know that in other countries it can be a little less awesome, but here everybody is so awesome and so nice to each other. Like, yeah, we have some, like, you're jealous sometimes, you wish you won something, stuff like that, things like that can happen. But usually people are just like super chill and like they just want to learn from each other and they just want to be friends and they want to win, but it's like healthy competition in my opinion.
I will
think,
say
like-
yes, and here's why. Because people who don't compete look at the people who do, and they don't understand what really is going on, right?
Yeah.
Like, they see people like me judging Charmanda, and then next month Charmanda's judging me, right? And they're like, well, they're friends, I think
Yeah.
it's intimidating in some ways when it comes to like high level competitions. They think that it's just like this world that's like incestuous and we all know each other, which we do.
We do know each other, but we don't favoritism each other,
No, absolutely not.
If
Actually, I don't-
anything, they probably know more about my costume than they should, including all the problems, which is actually a problem.
Yeah, I don't want to. The last thing I wanted to do was walk in and see Beverly and Plexi judging me at Crown. I was like, they saw me build this. They know what shortcuts I took. They know I glued this fabric. But
Like,
I mean,
dang it.
I think it's not the cosplay competition which has like brought the like elitism or something whatever in the community. I think it's the pressure from social media that's what I personally feel is the pressure from social media to be relevant, because I think like earlier on when like social media was not a huge thing, like when we used to compete like a long time back, at that time it was the only way for a lot of people to basically connect to each other. Like how would you know, like so if I'm in India, right? So I made all these people that you see on the screen, I made friends with them only because of competition. I have no other way to basically travel to a different country. I mean, like, of course it's like different everywhere. Like some people have the resources for it. I don't have resources to travel to America and cosplay over there on my own. It's very expensive for me. So like it was cosplay competition, winning competitions, which allowed me to travel so much and meet people everywhere. So I think it's the exact opposite. It's the cosplay competition for me, which has actually built the entire community. Like it has not created a divide. It has basically connected me to everyone in the world. you know.
When I said it
And,
creates a divide, though, what I mean is it's just because people don't know. They've never
Right.
been
Well,
backstage.
the people
and
outside of it,
I
I
have to
think,
say
are
about that,
different.
like it's basically in the pits where like people are like toxic and like, you know,
Yeah,
beating
they
each other
feel
up.
that way. But what we
The higher you go, yeah, the higher you go, the better competition that you are in. Like everyone respects each other. It's
It's
like
true.
when, like, I think because I've started feeling it in India now, like when there are like a bunch of new people who are trying to make a name for themselves, like how are we gonna make a name for themselves? Again, like it's the pressure of social media, how they're gonna make the name for themselves. So it's either like you go viral. If you're not going viral, you win a competition. There's like, well, it's basically two ways, right? Going viral is difficult. Winning a competition is also difficult, but like it's still something that you can actually work towards, because going viral is just, you know, it's a you throw a dart and you wait for it to hit, but at least you know that if you work hard enough, you might win a competition. So that's why when like people who are starting up, they're competing, and like, you know, there's a lot of competition in that. If your aim for competing is like to gain clout or something.
Right.
So
I mean, I'll be honest. Like when we're backstage, like I want to see your stuff. I want to know how you made that. I'm probably going to be chaotic and twerk. I mean, Jermaine,
Ew.
you eat so
Yeah,
much
that's
too.
true.
I mean,
That's true.
most of your friends probably came from backstage, right? I mean, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
it is a family, and it's a supportive group. You just it
Yeah.
looks intimidating when you've never
Yeah.
done.
yeah.
I was going to say,
I
is
was
it maybe
intimidated. Like the first time
is
I
it
was at
maybe
CK2,
a high walled garden scenario in some cases? Like you have all, like you're saying, we're all friends, we all become friends, and then there are people who, like for example, like for me, competing for me, and I think Vera, I've talked to you about this before. Competing just seems like such a massive jump when I'm seeing everybody else's work and I'm looking at mine and going, I don't see it. And then I'm seeing all the like there's the what am I trying to say? Like the skill to entry seems so much more than say going viral, where it is a shot in the dark, but all you have to do is set your phone up in your bedroom and do a dance or the costume you bought online. Right. So
like
I'm just wondering, is it a high walled garden scenario?
but this is a recent development. I don't think so. Like that used to happen a lot before, say 2018 or 2019, right? Like going viral before that, like had to take a lot more effort. Like you have to be much more
Fair
consistent.
point.
Like because nowadays one reel can go viral, but earlier on it was like post every day. That used to be the thing to go like viral before.
I
And
mean, if your goal is to go viral, you're probably missing out on a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like,
You're also probably not making the best costumes in the community. I'm just saying.
My
like
goal
you
I'm
were
just
saying,
saying.
like,
I don't see a good costume generally speaking go viral. I see a costume that is popular right now go viral, and that's usually it.
I
So
mean,
like those are completely different things, you know.
James
And,
Gunn
like, I mean, there's-
commented on my stupid polka dot man. I made it in a day, and I'm
Yeah,
vomiting.
that's
Dude,
that's the one he
you
comments
get-
on everything.
you get freaking you do
You've been
curvy,
tagging
and
him
then
for
it
months.
goes.
It goes viral. Cool
like
stuff.
about the
So
Stupid thing you like bought.
So well-made
in China.
competition
Out of
costumes are
everything.
not the same thing as viral costumes,
Yeah,
generally speaking.
also about like the sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying really quickly, just to put things in perspective, guys. Cosplay is just itself in itself as a community. I grew up in the 70s where if you like sci-fi or science fiction books, you were shunned and made fun of in high school. I had five friends that liked the same things I did. And I went to my first convention when I was like 14 years old. My mind was blown. I'm like, wait, there's more than 100 people that like the same thing I do.
I bet that was awesome.
Guys,
Yeah.
it was groundbreaking.
I bet that was awesome.
And then I end up packing my bags and moving to California, and I lost connection with that because I went from living in St. Louis and went to California, started working in the industry. And when I got back out of it and started finding, wait, there's more, there's a thing called conventions and cons still. And I finally realized they're still going. It was a larger community. And now it's like, now you're not hip if you're not into the same things I was. It's so funny now that what I was made fun of when I was in my 20s, now it's just this huge, it's an industry now. And then the thing is that what makes it so great though is the cosplay community is really a particular niche. It's not just loving the genre, it's projecting it by making something from that genre and wearing it. And the idea that you take one step level, that I like this show, but I'm beyond liking it. I want to be a character in that show and to make something from that show. And that is, and when you see somebody who's just as insane as you are to make something from a TV show that's maybe on screen for 5 seconds, like, you know, like when I was watching Mandalorian and I saw the heavy infantry Mando was on the screen for like a couple of minutes. I'm like, oh, I'll make that. Within the next
That
day,
one.
everybody jumped all over it. And
That
then
one.
now he's everywhere.
That one.
Now he's so good. I was like, yeah, okay, forget it. I'm done.
That one.
That's a
But-
great example.
But
Where's
it's
the
true. But he was
vacuum? Where's the
he's a
vacuum?
background character,
Where's the
but
vacuum?
people embraced it. It's like, and that's what makes the cosplay community. So again, I just this whole competition thing, I'm bored with everybody else. There's no competition. We just all love it, and we all look at each other, people's work, and if you win, that's all right. They're going to try to get you again next year. It's it is what it is.
And I also like the thing that he mentioned about like getting intimidated, and I completely understand it. But that shouldn't stop you, because the first time I came to Crowns, that was like I had already been cosplaying for like 7-8 years. I had won more than 30 competitions in India. So I thought like, oh, I'm the big shit, And then I came to Crowns, and then Brittany was literally standing next to me. That's when we became friends. So Brittany was pretty much like the first person I became friends with at C22, because I went into the prejudging room and like I saw all the costumes, and like my heart just sank like to the bottom of the ocean. Like, oh my God, what is going on here? Like there was X-Sisters with a 7.5 foot Reinhardt. And like, Brittany had her 2D 3D printed. I don't know what the hell was going on in her costume. Like so much paint. Like I just sprayed it and that's it. That's all I did. I didn't even do the edging because I had never seen that before. And she had it was like a Rembrandt. I don't know how you call it, Rembrandt painting.
It was a World of Warcraft thing that was like the first thing that I painted insane.
Yeah, and it was what the fuck? And I was so intimidated. But instead of feeling like, oh, I should not compete because these people are much above my level, because you have to understand that for me, everything was alien. I didn't know the materials. I didn't even know what Warbler was back then. I didn't know the materials. I didn't know where to find all of this. And I had never so the level was I was at 1 and these people were at 250 or something, and I was like, okay. But I saw and I was that excited me. Instead of intimidating me, I was going to everyone and I'm like, oh, because initially I was like, will these people even want to be friends with me? I'm already I'm from India, they don't give a shit about me. And
no, we were like, hey, I hope we see you again next year. That's what we were like.
Oh, yeah. And I was the thing that made me happiest, my costume cost me $110, and these people have costume that cost them $2,000 or something. And I was like, okay, nice.
I wish my
I
costumes
think
would cost me $110.
it doesn't cost me that now. Trust me, it doesn't cost me that now. But back then.
Something. Hold on. We have to decide if we just start on a tangent or we go back to actually making armor.
Yeah.
We just go
Hey guys, really quickly.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna reload. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, reload.
I also just reloaded. All right.
Keep going on cosplay tea talk.
You're still going too, right?
Oh.
What?
Yeah, you better be.
I'm still on 1.
That's your first one. Come on.
I've just woken up. I cannot.
He's like, I can't.
No excuse.
No,
No excuse
So I guess
at all.
I don't know. I think we should just
We're going.
We just keep going on some hot takes cosplay in general, because
We have another question in the did the introduction of 3D printing change the landscape?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
guys,
definitely.
Go ahead.
I think
It has changed everything. It's made cosplay so accessible to everyone, which is a great thing. I absolutely love that. That for everyone. So many people. It used to be so much difficult. I think our community has blown up thanks to 3D printing, which is great.
My
More the
biggest thing
merrier.
with that is with the 3D printing, it's gotten to a point to where almost everyone assumes everything is 3D printed. It's
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
overtaken, especially coming
Yeah,
from my
exactly.
aspect with commission building. People just assume that, oh, it's 3D printed. Well, no, I mean, I do venture more into foam building, but I outsource some 3D printed stuff. But it's gotten to a point where people just think everything's 3D printed now. It's just so universal, where we're oh, it's 3D printed. That's 3D printed. Is that 3D printed? That's one of the questions I get asked a lot. Is that 3D printed? Is that foam? And then it's become. Yeah, and it's become sort of a atmosphere where people think it's oh, well, it's not 3D printed. It's looked down on now, and it's well, hang on, because there's a lot.
It's not 3D printed.
Foam can look just as good.
Yeah, so that's my
If
thing.
not,
Where I tell
it's
people,
better
I
sometimes.
tell people that. Look,
I mean, I prefer foam, but
yeah,
I do.
I'm
Depending, it depends.
Yeah.
Depends on the
I'm
thing.
100% foam, but it's some people come to me when I'm because I build everything everything foam, and people are like, "Oh, it's not 3D printed, so like I'm not interested. I want it 3D printed." It's like, well, hang on, because it depends on the
Yeah.
skill and like
3D
there's a lot
3D
more
It
that
depends
goes
on
into
so
it.
many things.
Yeah,
It's
it
so
depends
much
on so
heavier
many
in the prop world too.
Yeah.
It's I can make a sword
It's
that's
also not as
six foot.
durable.
No,
Yeah,
that's true
yeah.
too.
I've
There's-
definitely lost commissions. Like I've had 2 or 3
I had to
examples
switch over to headsets.
where I've had
Because my
I just found a 3D print file. I'll just go
Yeah.
use that.
Yeah.
Do
Good
that
for
then.
me, like,
Like
do that then.
okay, that's fair.
That's what you want to
but
do, then that's what you should do.
exactly.
I run into that all the time with people. They want everything
Yeah.
3D
For
printed.
3D printing, like I'm not taking anything away. If you 3D print all your,
No,
if you make
not at
your
all.
files, if you do
Yeah,
your
yeah.
stuff, if you love it, you
Yeah.
sand it, you love sanding, you're so into
Yeah.
sanding, and you sand again, you go. Like do your thing.
Yeah.
For
Sand
me,
die,
I
sand die,
I
sand
can't
die.
imagine
Wait.
walking around in a fully
I-
3D printed
I-
suit. Like
hate sanding so
Oh
much.
god.
When your hands just like numb
Sanding's
and
so
limp, you're like,
annoying. It-
I think that's why we still foam craft. I think we all hate
Hands,
sanding.
like,
Like,
shake.
same here.
yeah.
I spent 15 years at a prop house sanding the crap out of everything.
ugh.
It is bullshit, and I'm not
It is
doing it
bullshit.
ever
No.
again.
Standing in
doing
your
it.
garage in the middle of summer
We're not
in
fucking leaving.
Florida
Florida.
is god awful.
Oh, I
I
can
I hate it.
imagine.
Absolutely
didn't
hate
that
it.
yesterday.
I didn't sand this. All right,
Wait, how did you
No.
do the shape?
it's all foam, baby.
Well, but how did you do it with no sanding?
Huh? It's
Just really good seams. You get really good at
Dude.
your seams.
Yeah, the more you
Yeah.
hate sanding,
The better
less-
you get at your
Yeah, the
seams.
best you get at your patterning. The better you get at
You
your
find ways
patterning.
not to do
So,
it. You
You
find
are-
every way not to do it.
you
Yeah.
are correct.
yeah. Like so I use foam clay very sparingly because I don't
Mhm.
want to like or like I make my seams as good as I can when I'm working on the thing so that I don't have to do any sanding whatsoever. So the more you
Mhm.
work on foam, the less
I-
sanding you should have to do.
Well,
Generally.
now there's that I forgot the brand that makes it, but the
Prop
rapid
Monkey
fill or
Studios.
the
Oh, prop monkey
No.
studios.
yeah,
Gap
yeah,
filler.
that you can
Gap filler.
use it on your seams and it's so easy to sand. It's ridiculous for seams.
They disappear.
Have you
They go
used-
get it.
Yes,
Have
that
you
stuff.
used,
Yes, gap filler.
Of course,
Gap
you have.
Gap filler, gap
Yes,
filler.
I
Yeah,
love
yep,
There it
yep.
is.
That stuff is phenomenal.
Yes,
Like
yes.
Hey, for all
I
you
need
people
more of it,
watching this,
though.
this stuff is the bomb.
phenomenal.
That thing-
Yeah.
Tell
that
them
stuff
that
is
'cause
literally
it's
the
like really
bomb.
rare to get. It's hard to
Yeah.
get now.
It is a
Well,
little hard
oh,
to get. It's
sold
like
out
20
now.
bucks for that little thing, but it's so worth it. You
It's
don't use
so
tons
worth
of it.
No,
I actually ordered.
Can
I
I-
actually ordered mine like last week because I'm coming to US like next week.
Wait.
So I was like, I want to get it.
I don't
Because-
have mine, but it's in my garage.
Yeah, I
I ain't
don't
going to
have
get
mine.
it. But
Yeah.
yes.
Gap filler
Mine's
is
like-
what you use to
Mine's
fill
like
your
half
seams.
dried out, and like I just add water to it, and I keep using it.
So a cheap
Go ahead.
alternative, if someone wants
yes.
some fun cheap alternative to both foam clay and gap filler, because I know you were saying like don't tell people it's rare, it's hard to get. If you do basically a 1-to-1 ratio of Mod Podge and spackle, the pink like wall spackle, until you get about a toothpaste like viscosity,
Thickness?
thickness, you can actually just paint it on, and and then about like 6 to 8 hours, so it definitely takes some time to cure. It actually dries, and you can sand it. I've been using it as a gap filler for years before even going
Really?
into foam clay. Yeah, and it's
that's
cheap because
awesome.
like Mod Podge is pretty cheap and spackle's pretty cheap, so you can make a little, and then you can batch make it. You can make as much as you
There's
want.
Quick Seal too.
yeah.
Quick Seal's
Yeah,
a
I've
really
been
good
using-
alternative.
Yeah.
I've been using the shit out of Quick Seal, but you can't sand it as well as you can sand like
Yeah,
this stuff.
yeah.
Right.
What
It's
you
very-
do
Yeah.
is
Just
just
to,
like
like,
it's very
fill
very
with
rubbery.
water.
Very,
Water
very
because
rubbery.
Yeah.
use the water on it before it
Yeah,
dries.
you can. It's just this stuff sands like
Sands
amazing.
It's
so
fun-
like
it's so
Right.
much
I
better
think
than
the-
Quick
it
Seal,
is.
but
Yeah, but
The
in
best thing
defense-
is like basically I think with Quick Seal you can see the difference in surface. Like like you have to do a lot more prep with
That's
Quick Seal
true.
because like the foam is rough and the Quick Seal is just like shiny. And
Yeah,
like
that's
when
true.
you paint it, it's like very visible. But with gap filler, because I have seen like the results
It's like
of it,
yeah.
it's like it looks like foam. So like when you
It's
sand
just
it
like
and when
foam.
you paint it, like it looks
liquid
very more homogeneous.
foam. It's
Yeah.
liquid
Yeah.
foam.
It's nice. This stuff's
Yep.
good.
in the defense
Hold on,
of gap
guys,
filler.
wait. Hold on.
Sorry.
The people don't understand what we're talking about. There's two problems really with EVA foam, right? It's your seams where the pieces come together,
Sometimes
Right.
they're not perfect.
and if you're using hot glue, especially on your seams,
Oh, yeah.
you're going to have a gap.
I
Gap,
got your
gap.
I got your back, Hoff. I got your
Unless
back.
you want them. Unless you want
Tag
them.
at Prop Monkey Studios.
So, and the other thing is that EVA foam has pores. So, like, what the number one thing I see with people in their cosplays out in the wild, or whether I'm judging, is that it's not properly sealed. It has pores. What makes us, Ted, show your helmet again. What makes something not look like foam is getting it as sealed as possible, and heat sealing alone won't do it. Usually, just a couple coats of Plasti Dip isn't going to do it. You're going to need multiple layers of stuff. So these products, and I'm not sponsored by them, but Rapid Fill and Fine
There you go.
they help to seal it. You can use I use actually, so a lot of times I'll do a Hexflex layer before I Plasti Dip. But
I've heard Hexflex is good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's good. Yeah.
Especially if you live in Florida, where your Plasti Dip's going to get
Humid
I've
and
heard that's a
bubbly
problem.
and never dries.
turns gray.
Something
the only
else to
one
help
who
with
has a
seams,
problem?
though.
What?
Am I the only one who has a
No.
problem with white Plasti Dip?
Oh,
Like, I
don't
cannot
use
use
No,
that
no,
shit.
white plastic dip is horrible.
I've
Don't
tried.
use
I've
it.
tried heating it
Don't use
up.
it.
I've tried.
It's very bubbly.
I've also
It's
got
never,
it
like,
where it's not
even.
smooth. Black
It's-
or gray, perfect.
White-
but
yeah.
white
yeah,
will go on
no.
smooth.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
white Plasti Dip is the devil. It's a weird compound.
It's
Don't
the
do
Even
it.
though sometimes you don't
That's the
want to start
perfect
with
banner.
a black or gray base, though.
White
and you
plastic is
wanna
the devil.
Also, sorry to derail a little bit, but has anybody ever used Plasti Dip Craft?
No, but
Yes.
I haven't. And gloss.
Yes.
And gloss.
I don't think so.
Don't use gloss.
Oh
ever.
yeah, don't use because gloss
Okay.
is like it comes out like paper.
Well, there's
It like winds up
they
coming
have
out
a
like
white
it's not even
Plasti
paint.
Dip Craft, and I was
I've-
wondering if that would work the same as the regular white, or if it would be better.
It's like
I've
a
used
can?
the
Like, what is
black
it?
craft one, and it was basically the same.
Okay, so you think
But
the white
I
would
don't-
probably
Yeah.
be the same as the white?
Probably.
White plastic is
Probably.
the devil.
All right.
Yeah.
all right. I
That's
just
going-
wanted to know.
That is going on
Nobody
a
ever buy
banner,
it.
100%. That is a masterpiece right there.
It is. It's a weird. It's
That's
a
a
weird
ribbon
thing.
right there.
I don't know. It's
it
the white. It's the
bubbles
fact that it's not black
weird.
or gray.
It's weird. Yeah.
It's a very weird thing. But so when
Anyway.
you're working with foam, covering your seams,
Beginners.
Ted.
for beginners.
For beginners,
I think
yes.
there's also
devil. Evil
Just say
Ted.
evil Ted.
If you think it's sealed, I think here's the thing: is I see so many things that are beautiful and they're painted and it looks like it should be painted well, but the EVA foam has just sucked that paint right in.
Yeah.
And if you think you've sealed it enough, seal it again. And when you're Plasti dipping, if that's kind of the go-to right now, I think for most people, you need to it needs to be almost like shiny, like just like coating it lightly is not gonna.
No, you gotta do like 3-4 coats.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Really quickly, I want to tell people when I started off, before I started using Richard Cast rubber or like spraying rubber or whatnot, Plasti Dip. Before I sprayed Plasti Dip on any foam props, I would take Mod Podge and do a thin coat of Mod Podge on my foam that would seal the pores of my foam. Therefore, when I spray Plasti Dip, it would skin quickly because if you don't, if you don't put a sealer on your foam, the foam will drink it up. You'll end up doing 7 coats with a can because the foam is drinking it up. So what you want to prevent your foam from sucking up your Plasti Dip. You take a really thin layer of Mod Podge, you brush it on every foam and let it dry. And once you do it, then when you spray it, it skins immediately, and you'll get away with doing 2 or 3 coats tops.
Yeah.
Do you heat seal?
I'm sorry.
Do you heat
yeah,
seal?
Yeah, I'll heat seal it, but sometimes I'm afraid to heat seal too much because it'll make my seams that I patch pull apart.
Yeah.
So if
You can
I'm
also
super
remove the textures, yeah.
right,
We should
And also
probably
remove the
explain
textures.
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm super.
Explain.
I'm gonna go refill real quick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
contact.
do it, girl. Do it. Don't let me
it.
drink it. Don't let me drink by myself.
Oh, you're not. You're not drinking by yourself. Why would you be drinking by yourself?
The go-to glue is contact cement. It's 2 parts. You put it together. Heat actually interacts with contact cement. A lot of people will tell you to heat up your contact cement because it'll dry quicker, but don't do that because heat actually weakens the bond.
And
I did not know that. That's good to know. Oh.
No, she's absolutely
I
right.
do that every time.
I mean, if your boss is on hey, I need to talk to you on a Zoom call, and you just laid contact cement down, I mean, I'll get a hairdryer out.
Oh, that's the best.
Dude, I heat up
I
my
think
contact
something-
cement 100% of the time. I cannot wait.
It does
There's-
technically it does weaken the hold. Like you notice, like if you have
I didn't know
if
that.
you have a bond and you go over it with a heat gun too much, it kind of starts to pull apart a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, it
if
does.
it's
So
if,
you
it,
just
if
smush
it's
it back together and everything.
yeah,
goes
if
away.
it's
Thing is
fresh,
bad.
if it gets, what I usually do, if I'll put a helmet together, I let it dry for like a couple hours. After a couple hours, when the glue becomes inert, then you can heat it back up without pulling apart. But if it's still fresh, you're right, you'll reactivate it.
Wait. You guys are heat sealing your helmets the same day you put them together? You're not waiting
Yeah.
weeks and weeks
Yeah.
and weeks and procrastinating?
Like,
What?
I only have so much time to put towards.
I actually heat seal my pieces before I stick them,
That's
so that I don't have
smart.
to do it
I
with the-
just saw that on Instagram. Someone
bad
said that
idea.
they do
I
that. And I'm
always
like,
heat
that is
seal it
so
before.
smart.
Something
Like, as
I
soon
would,
as-
if I
as
could
soon
take
as
a few
I'm done
steps
cutting-
back.
As soon as I'm done cutting, I would basically
as well. Sorry.
heat everything. Sorry?
That's really smart.
No, I keep interrupting you. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying, as soon as I'm done cutting, I basically, whenever I'm sticking two pieces, and actually, I also heat the foam before, because I think it helps with the sticking sometimes. Because,
Yes.
Yeah.
like, if you are like putting two pieces together, and like maybe like it's a seam with a lot of stress, like if you heat them and like heat them before sticking, who's using Velcro? If you're heating them before sticking, yeah, it like you can basically press the seam together, and then like the seam is more seamless. So like, yeah, I heat the
Yeah.
foam before. I think it
try
helps
that
a lot.
Also, we
Yes.
haven't. If this stream is for beginners, we haven't really explained what heat sealing is.
Yeah,
We are
I mean, I think if you're on this, like if you follow all of us, and like you have,
Yeah.
like, you must have seen it on the story, then you
Yeah.
pretty much know a little bit.
Yeah, probably just like a little bit.
Yeah.
If I could take a few steps back as well, something that you can do while templating is figuring out where certain seams are going to be, and you might be able to hide them in just contours of the body, especially if you're dealing with armor where you've got hard edges. If you can make your templates meet those edges, so for example, like the boot cut might be a bit different, but like a pectoral plate can sometimes come at an angle, and you can hide the. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, okay. I thought I heard someone say, "Can you hear him?"
Do you want us to interrupt you?
Yeah, I think I'm just so used. No, I'm kidding. But you can hide the seams in there, or so that's something definitely to think about. You can also work at inside seams where you cut through the foam halfway. I don't know what you guys call it, but I call it an inseam. Where on the inside of something, if you want it to curve in, but you don't want a seam on the outside, you cut on the inside of the foam halfway through, and then you glue it in like this, and it's this smooth outside texture.
Yeah, I don't,
That's kind of like,
what that's
I don't know if
called.
it's
I think it's called
advanced.
stitching.
Yeah.
Actually, like
It's called stitching.
stitching. the
Stitching.
foam.
Stitching.
Oh, okay.
I just call it like making a groove in the back and then like folding.
Yeah,
it.
like an inside. Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
I call
You
it
do the,
right
you
now
do the
the back.
thing,
I call
like a
it
V
just do this.
thing.
The V thing does not work. If you try to use that V thing, like the bevel cutter,
Oh, the cutter thing? Oh, God, no. No.
the V thing does not
No.
work.
No.
Have you ever?
No, the
yeah.
blades get
I've never
dull.
used one. No.
Yeah.
Everything gets dulled too quickly, and
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
I do everything by hand. And,
Yeah, freehanded.
Yeah.
You're better off freehanding.
Yeah.
Although shameless plug, not my product, but you guys, anybody get the bevel all cutter?
I have the bevel
I
cutter.
have one.
Dude, that
I haven't
thing is
used it yet. I bought it, but I haven't used it.
I have it.
You know, like,
The bevel one is
It's
good.
it's a really simple. It's the craft knife
Oh, yeah.
one, and
Yep.
and it comes in really handy on simple things, and like
Yeah.
this
But
is
more
I mean,
basic shapes versus like
This one?
complex shapes.
This
Yeah.
one?
Oh no,
Yeah.
this,
No.
no,
The
this-
that
bevel.
one. Oh, I don't
this is
have that
this
one.
this one's from Rocket Props. He
Yeah,
makes
he's
one for
awesome.
he makes one for a craft knife, and he makes one for utility
The
knife.
box cutter blades. The
Rocket
little
Prop.
ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
rocket props.
rocket props, and it's super. It fits any standard craft knife. It's adjustable, and you can adjust the depth. And once you pick your bevel, it's the same. Like if you're doing a sword blade or an angle, it's consistent. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Back to foam crafting 101. Find an Amazon link where you can buy a crap ton of box cutter blades
Yeah.
and a crap ton of craft knife blades at a cheap price, and just buy
Yeah.
a bunch of
Harbor
them.
Freight. Don't sleep on Harbor
That's
Freight.
true. That's true.
Like,
Amazon's
also,
a
like
good
knife-
bet too.
wait. Also, too, it's
A sharpener. Yep.
sharpener is so important.
I'm
What
the
is that
devil. I
one?
just throw them away again.
the sharper.
Yeah, me too.
I'm the devil. Yep, that one's
Listen,
done.
I'm too lazy to even change my blades. Okay.
I
I
can't
think,
do
like-
those. I just. I
Yeah,
live with
five.
X-Acto knives.
Yeah,
But
five,
I-
seven.
Someone
been
should
using
make a
this
7
city-
deadly sins of foam crafting
know.
shirt.
Oh, that's a sharpener.
I get it, guys. It's called a Kershaw
What are
sharpener.
those?
That probably works better
Oh,
though.
I like
This
that.
this is a sharpener. You can get these. Better jump over to eviltedsmith.com and click on the link.
There it is.
Yep, there it is. See, I got mine. I bought this years ago. I think I actually need a new one now, but like a blade sharpener,
bad
just so
blade
you don't have to constantly change your blade out, just to, shoot, and then just keep cutting, like it takes me too much time to change blades out. So
I used
I'll
to change
sharpen
blade, but I
like
think
20 times before I change
no
it.
shade to anyone. No shade to anyone. Like everyone does their own way, but I do think that like using a sharpener gives better results because it's much more faster. And I
It
think
is
like
fast.
I basically sharp my blade every like 3 or 4 cuts, like three
Yeah.
or 4 slits.
Yeah,
Mm.
three
Yeah.
cuts.
Yeah.
About 3 or 4 cuts. I'm like boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
Yeah. And then it has made such a difference because I also used to, because like everything in India is cheap. So I would I can get like a whole box of like 100 blades for like $5, $10 or something like that. So
Can you send some over here?
Yeah,
I get like $8 for 3.
no, I for $5 I get like the whole pack of 100 blades. So
100.
like 100. So I used to just I used to just keep changing the blades. But like after I started using a sharpener, I have like it makes the workflow so much faster. And
Yeah.
also I think it matters with every cut, because then like changing blade every 3 cuts is like you're not gonna do that. But you can
No.
sharp every 3 cuts, and then like the whole piece is like so crisp.
Ooh. Are we showing off our tools now?
I probably we have-
Listen, okay. I
I'm away
want to
from
show
my
you. I
workshop.
want to show you my favorite.
tell
I'm
you
away
it's
from
not
my
why.
workshop too. My garage is a hot mess.
Cool.
Hey, really quickly,
Oh.
hold call. What's your best brand of hot glue? There's a question for.
Um,
Well,
I buy ad
I like
tech. I don't-
Bonder. They're pretty good. I actually really like
Ad
their.
No, I
They're-
want to hear him. What's your favorite glue, buddy?
I buy shipments of the AdTech hot glue. It's the high temp, multi-purpose or high temp, one of those. And I go through and I usually with a lot of my commissions, I actually give out hot glue guns and hot glue sticks. I'll put them in every shipment. I give everybody hot glue guns. In my room, I have actually a whole power strip, and it's just hot glue guns. I have all little racks, a little gun rack.
Wow.
Hold
I
on,
pull them off, and they're just always
What's
ready to go.
I
I'm
think
so cursed.
Yeah.
I'm
how
such a
you fill a seam, and I've seen your seams. There's no gap. How you
and it's
do that
it's
with
the,
hot
one of
glue,
those
it just
things
blows my mind.
where it's
he
I
pushes
just do
pushes
it.
them together.
It's a lot of massaging. It's a lot
He
of
gets
hands.
good. He gets
I don't know.
good.
It's one of those things where I hate and I don't like answering it because it's hard to tell people, and it's not, and I don't consider it the
Man,
best
this
way to
face
do it.
right now.
Gatekeeping.
I don't-
Gatekeeping.
I don't consider it the best
Gatekeeping.
way of
You
doing
guys
it.
are too dumb to understand what I do.
Now look, I do use contact cement. My life's a lie. I do use contact cement a lot, but I'm just so used to hot glue where it's so easy for me, and that's just me. So
Mhm.
and I don't like giving it as advice because
Advice.
it's maybe not might be the best thing, but it works for me. So it's
Yeah.
it's hard to
I mean,
I-
I
mean,
still
when
have
I-
a costume
I'm just so
from
used to it.
2015 put together with hot glue, so you
Yeah.
can't
You
you
have
can't
it
miss on hot glue, but
like this. The seams are hot glued
It
together.
is hot glue. I'm not
I-
lying.
yeah.
It's hot glue.
That's a beautiful costume. I've seen that. It's a
Dude,
beautiful
okay.
costume.
This is
Okay.
hot glue.
All of my costumes were hot glued together until 2 years ago, and then I learned about how to actually use contact cement, and then now I use
So,
contact cement.
This is the hot
That's-
glue seed.
Seriously, it took so many years for someone to
That's
teach me how to
insane.
do cement glue. I was using
Dude,
hot glue
I didn't know
and
how to do it.
Now look,
and
there
super
is-
glue.
There is hot glue cement, contact cement. There's actually Gorilla Glue or the suit where it's
do
actually
you
a more
use that?
super glue. Sometimes it's I don't like it because the viscosity of it. Gets
Okay,
really,
then what do you use regularly?
just multi-temp hot glue sticks, just regular.
And it just
regular-
works for
Aztec
you,
is
and it's
really
just
good.
what you
That's what
like?
And I
Is it
Yeah.
hot glue contact cement?
The what?
What part
But-
of the U.S.
but
are
my-
you from? Is it a hot
but-
place? Is it a cold
Florida.
Yeah, I live.
place?
Yeah.
Sadly, I live right next to Nicole.
this
my
this
thing-
whole line right here is Florida.
Yeah.
All right.
How you do this? How you do
Wait,
this? I had too
my-
many things melt in my car for me to continue
Well,
to use hot glue.
And that's the thing where it's
That's true. It's-
heat
Yeah.
is gonna hurt most anything. I mean, it's hard
Yeah.
to find somewhere heat's not gonna affect it.
Yeah, but I have a
so-
lot less problems
Oh,
when
yeah.
I use contact cement and I have my thing in my
Yeah.
car and it's contact cemented.
I think-
Versus, I had things pull apart in my car
Yeah, that's
with hot glue.
that is the negative aspect of hot glue. There's not really
My big issue, I think, when I just recently did a workshop. I went to C2E2 and we did a workshop in Chicago, and I've been doing workshops for a while, and recently the thing is something I do regularly. I understand it takes people to learn what makes contact cement so tricky for most people is that the concept of glue being dry.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
then you have to it sounds like somebody's loading a gun. Is that you? Okay.
Nope.
It's like slapping a clip in. Anyway,
Florida.
is that the trick is with contact cement is that you apply to your foam and let it soak in. You usually do 2 coats. It depends on how new the glue is. When you apply it, once it's completely dry, then you put it together. And that's the thing that it throws people off. Wait a minute, glue's wet, and you put it like you wait till it dries. Like, no, you apply it to both surfaces, let it dry, then put it together. And it's a bit of a learning curve, but once you get over that,
it's a lack of patience, to be honest.
Dude, that is a lack of patience. Okay,
Hang on.
It's a lack of patience.
Listen.
Like you see, you read it in the tutorials, like you see, like everyone telling you it, but like people still want to stick it, like as soon as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, I did a whole.
Listen.
I apply the contact cement and then walk away for a good 20 minutes.
Okay, so I didn't use contact cement for like all the time that everybody was using contact cement until like literally 2 years ago when I was like, listen, okay, talking to a friend, I'm like, I do not know how to use this. Everybody talks about it. Everybody says that I should be using this. Why am I not getting it? And he's like, okay, this is how you do it. Glue on this side, wait till it's dry, sticks together. And I'm like, I've done that.
Yeah.
It doesn't work because I wouldn't let it get dry enough.
Yeah, that's
So now
I
I use
did
the heat
a,
gun on it. So I
Yeah.
put the glue on it, and then I use the heat gun on it, and I use the heat gun on it, and then I
Yeah.
stick them together. And that's the way I
Yeah.
do it every time now because
I
I'm not
basically
patient enough.
I basically put like glue on every piece, and then I'll wait. Like basically, I'm like not waiting. Like I put glue on 2 sides. I'm not waiting on that piece. I would basically put glue on all the sides and everything. Like my next 10 sticking pieces, and then I'll go back to the first, and then I'll like go sticking, and then like it's a gluing
think a lot
session
of
and then a
people-
sticking session.
that's what I do. I do the domino thing. I put glue here, and then move the next piece. So by the time I get to, and then like you said, by the time I get to the first one, they're all dried by the time. Yeah,
So you can be
Yeah.
impatient with like, but with tactics, you can be like tactical impatient person.
Yeah,
tactical
but I'm
impatience.
extremely impatient, so
Yeah.
I'll just like heat gun it and then get them together. But eventually, when he told me that, he sat me down and then had me glue the one side, glue the other side, stick them together. I was like, I have to get it right because he just did it. Now I can do it. I finally did it. I stuck them together and I was like, oh my god, they're
I
finally
think a lot of
sticking
people
together.
get like they don't understand because they don't like the part where you have to leave it. If they think it's glue,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you gotta glue it. You're like, no, just leave it.
No, it's got to be dry.
Yeah,
Just
it's
Well,
Not like
especially
it's
because
frozen, it's
now
not
It's a bit
a
of a
lot of
learning
people
curve.
start. A lot
does
of
it
people start
actually
with
have
hot
to be
glue,
dry,
and a
or
lot
does
of
it
people
have to
start
be
with
tacky?
super glue in that
Yeah, a
order.
little
And those
tacky,
glues
yeah.
are the put together right away glues.
that is
Right.
why
Um,
I'm gonna be going back to making videos about this exact subject.
Well, and
Yeah,
that's
You should
why.
make a-
So I'm
you
doing.
need to make a short about it. Do a short about it. That shit will get eaten up.
Will it glue?
I'm doing a video. I haven't filmed. I just haven't edited yet. About like just the different glues and how to use it for beginners. And half the video is just cement glue because I want people to use cement glue eventually, and I just
Yeah.
don't want them to have the barrier where it's like it wasn't even like gatekeep for me. It was just no one told me how to use it. Everyone's like, "Well, just use
Same.
it." You
Yeah,
know what I mean? I'm
same.
like, well, how? It doesn't work.
Yeah.
But then again,
Yeah,
like
big
you're saying,
time.
once you got it, that's all I use now. I use super glue for like googly eyes. That's the only thing I use super glue for.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
use super glue for detail
I use
pieces.
hot glue for attachments. That's about it.
I use hot
Wait.
glue for fabric stuff, and that's
Ah,
pretty
do
much
too.
it.
Now you're
I
talking.
use hot glue to
Now you're
reinforce
talking.
seams.
Yeah, I
Oh,
use
yeah.
hot glue to
Go on.
reinforce it behind.
This
Yeah.
is this
Hell
is
yeah.
my glue gun.
I have to say, I
That
don't
thing
really
looks
use
old
hot
as-
glue.
That's actually
Not
a
at
cool
all?
glue gun. That
Not
looks
at
like
all? Even
tactical
for like
glue gun.
attachments and
Dude,
stuff.
this is the
Mhm.
Hot glue is
3M.
amazing for foam,
high
even if you're
temp.
not using it
That's
for
good.
like.
That looks like a
attachment.
Digimon, Ted. That looks
Yeah,
like a-
that thing is
Dude, this
amazing.
thing-
I love it.
It's like the
This thing
Egyptian built
is
it.
so expensive. It's so expensive.
Really?
I bought this years ago when it was like 30
I
bucks,
think of-
and now it's ungodly expensive. So I don't use it in streams because people will be like, "Where'd you get that gun?" I'm like, "Don't do it."
You'd be
'cause
like,
it's gonna-
don't buy it,
That's
please.
kinda sick.
It's going to cost you a fortune. But
What?
I have this only for sometimes when I want to do strappings or something really quickly. But I would
Yeah.
never do this. I would never do this on stream because then people will be like, "That thing cost a fortune," and the glue sticks are expensive. I'm like, "Yeah, it's 3M. You know,
That's
what do you
sick.
want?"
But why is it why,
Yeah, I do
why is it
the.
expensive? Is it just because of the brand, or does it like have a special feature or something?
It's high temp, and it's so high temp that if you get it on your finger, it will give you a 3rd-degree burn.
Ooh, it's
That'll do
super
it.
high temp.
That'll do it.
It's super high temp.
Yeah.
Super high temp.
But yeah, I think
the Surebonder glue sticks are really good because they're very like when they're
Yeah.
on, they don't have a lot of viscosity. And they come in like metal like colors. So
Yeah.
like they're like my go-to for like, oh crap, something just fell off me. Because I probably have some kind of a metal color on my costume, so those ones are good. Are we going into? But I have a hot. You want like a spicy question?
Do we have one?
There's a
have
really fun question over here. Like, do you think cosplay is mostly a young person's hobby?
Yeah.
Guess the average age of this panel.
Look at us. I mean, I think Amanda might be the youngest person here, right? You're.
I'm 33.
Yeah.
Hey,
Exactly.
I'm the
33.
youngest person here. What are you talking about?
Okay, gauges.
Great.
I might be the youngest
31.
person.
31.
I'm also 30.
Oh, I'm definitely the youngest person then.
I
How
just
old are
look
you?
like a child.
18.
No.
Am I
27.
Okay, he's the youngest person.
the oldest?
I think you are the oldest, but not by that. I think we've talked about this before. I'm 44.
I'm 60.
Oh, Ted, yeah.
I win.
You don't look it.
Going on 51.
I'm the
Look at it.
second oldest. That's cool. can live
I
with
think
that.
what's interesting about it's kind of we're talking like if we're taking the age question seriously, I think one of the coolest parts about let's say comic books in particular right now is that like Old Man Logan or Cable, like there's older characters now that are super popular that you don't have to be like. There's a buddy of mine, Messiah Complex Cosplay, and he's an older guy, and he was saying like I've given up Spider-Man. I'm too old to kind of do Spider-Man, but I can do Cable, I can do Negan, I can do these older characters and still feel like you're part of it. It's not to say you can't do Spider-Man, but you can do characters that you don't have to like feel young to do in a way. I hope that makes sense.
I think-
but I think
You
that's
should
kind of
always
cool.
do what you're comfortable with doing.
If you look at the
Mhm.
maker space, the people who are really good at making stuff, they're older. Like
Yeah,
True.
because like you need time to learn things. Like you need time to
time
practice.
to learn this stuff. It takes a lot of extra, like having the disposable income. And when you're 20 years
Yeah.
old and you have inflatable furniture in your 1-bedroom apartment, you
Yeah.
can't afford like Surebond or glue sticks. I mean,
Yeah.
I couldn't. I had inflatable furniture. It was
And
just
that's why foam is amazing, because foam is cheap. That's
Foam
why
is
foam cosplays. You can do foam cosplays when you're
foam
young.
can be cheap. That's
That's
true.
right.
Can be, yeah, it's a good
Can
point.
be
Hey,
cheap.
Depending
really
on
quick.
what
Depends.
It's
you
cheap
use.
here again. It's cheap here.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's workarounds for some things. Like I don't need to do those as much anymore. But like you can go to Harbor Freight and you can buy the 10mm puzzle piece floor mats. You
Oh,
can
God.
you can do that, or
Yeah.
you can go to Hobby Lobby and you can get the roll, the 6mm foam
Yeah,
for
screw
$8.
Hobby Lobby.
I love
But
Hobby
it
Lobby.
is something you can do.
Anyway, Charmondo, what are you drinking, sweetie? I saw you drinking something. What
Truly's.
Right,
All
yeah,
right,
there we go.
I'm just
I
making
have
sure.
a good. I have a
I'm
good.
just making sure she's staying with the theme. That's all.
I have a good.
I mean, it's clear.
Do a
My
good
life
one.
is a lie.
I mean, I was
Oh.
like, someone just said I love inflatable furniture. So like I
Where do
was,
you get inflatable furniture?
oh, it was like a big thing back
In
in
the
like,
in the 90s, it was
Yeah,
a big
in the
thing.
90s.
Yeah, it was. It was
inflatable?
everywhere.
Like a
Yeah.
couch?
yeah.
Cool.
So it
And
was
like
like
the
my first
chairs.
apartment, and I had like the chairs with like
It's
a
kind of
black
cool.
light and like a sex poster that was like all
Maybe.
black lit. I don't
Yeah,
know.
my
like
God.
a pink and a blue and a purple chair or something.
Spencer's Gifts was like the mall. Like the mall existed. You
Gifts.
guys don't understand.
Should
Any-
live in
It existed.
all right, here's one.
Anyway.
Okay.
Let's talk about armor versus sewing.
Okay.
Mm.
I
But I
can't.
don't think so. There's a competition there. It's
I
like
can't tell.
completely two like
I
there's
know how
like
to
so
tell, though.
you can talk about armor versus like foam versus 3D printing, but armor versus sewing, like it's two completely different things. Like there's no like
It's a
there's
There
hard
are
no
topic
overlap.
to touch on,
It's a hard.
It is.
spicy
especially
one.
if you are in the. Because I mean, I actively still do competitions like every other month.
But I don't
It's
understand
hard.
why.
What?
What is the like? Why is there such like a? It just seems like there's constantly this like. back
There's
and-
always going to be a battle between like what is harder. I think they both have. They're both completely two different topics. Like,
But as a
it's kinda hard
judge, as a judge, you need to say, okay, which one's better here? You know, they're two completely different things, but which one is better? And better is subjective for sure, but also one has more work than the other, and that is what the judge ends up having to judge on.
Yes.
If we're talking about competition specifically, so it might not be the one's necessarily better than the other, but one has more work. They might be equal as far as like how good they are, but one has still got more work than the other. And generally speaking, it's usually the sewing one.
Yeah.
That's all. Like,
but my thing is, in defense of everything, is that sewing and foam, there's two elements that are very much similar. They're both pattern making. It's how you gluing things together is a lot easier than sewing something together. And that's the thing that I definitely understand. I don't sew. I always appreciate people who can sew. And people are like, oh, I taught myself how to sew. I just want to punch them in the face. I'm like,
I've been trying to sew more.
Oh.
Yeah, me too.
It's so hard.
Like,
it's so hard.
It is.
It is very hard. But when I did my bone armor, like I did the same thing that I would do for a breastplate. I wrapped myself in saran wrap and duct tape, and that's how I got my pattern. And same thing, just.
I think the difference in like the challenge.
Evil Ted says.
The biggest difference I think when it comes to challenge between like foam and like sewing is basically, I think the one advantage, even though I know like it's a general consensus that like Brittany said that she thinks that like sewing is difficult. I differ in the opinion. My thing is like finishing a sewing costume is all about the seams. Like if you get your seams right, of course, like patterning, I'm like taking patterning out of the equation because like both patterning for cloth and like foam, like it's complicated either way, right? So but like with sewing, if you're able to make like good seams, like that does a lot of jobs to make the costume look good, whereas in a prop, like you have to do good with the seams and also the surface, because remember, like in sewing, like the cloth is, you buy the cloth material, right? So you don't have to finish it. If you're able to finish the seam well, like that already like puts you ahead. But as in like in foam crafting, you have to make the seams look good, but then you also have to prepare the surface more. So I think like you have to, like it's a really subjective thing. Like I personally cannot say like by like default which one I think is like takes more work or less work. I think both of them, like I said, like completely different, and it's a case by case. Like like I have seen a lot of costumes because I've had the.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I think there's a lot of like where it comes from is that the lay person, the person who isn't a cosplayer, doesn't make anything. They're immediately drawn to the biggest thing out there, right? So like their favorite is usually an armor build or Samir.
I would say it's the opposite way too, though. Like so, the general public, I would definitely say general public prefers like huge light up costume. I would not say even higher. Like if anything lights up, people just like
they're like, oh my god.
If anything lights up and people just go crazy. I think like the bias used to be the other way in the judging, because a lot of the times when I'm kind of generalizing, but like a lot of times like the people who are sewing can churn out costumes much faster than people who are making armors. So back in the day, the people who were like bigger influencers, most of the time would be people who were sewing costumes, because again, anime costumes much more popular. Like you can make more anime costumes if you know sewing, like, and it would be like take more time as an armor crafter. Like we take at least like a month or two to make something, and if someone who knows sewing can churn out a costume for the convention like next day.
Now it's the other way around, where the person who does the sewing costume for, we'll just say, a competition or something, is going to spend 8 months on a costume, whereas an armor builder can do it in like 3, 4, or 5 months.
But like the one who
then the sewing person
4,
has to do the embroidery, and they got to do the pin tucks, and they got to do the beautiful lining, and they have to try. I know how to do. Listen, I know how to do both, and I know that the sewing.
I want popcorn.
Okay.
When have you seen a person who has made a costume in 4 months? When have you seen a person who has made a costume in 2-3 months win? Like even like so, Nerds Gone Wild, like her costume, I would consider like
an
it
took
2 years to make that costume.
Mine was 4 months.
My TwitchCon costume was a 4-month build. 4 months. Yeah. TwitchCon.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But then like, you also have to consider like the person who is sewing. Like so, like you and me, like we do this full time. A lot of the time, people who are taking 8 months to sew a costume are basically doing it between their jobs. So like 8 months doesn't tell you anything. Like
No,
8 months can be
I
like,
know that, but like, okay, so with foam, you can sand it, you can finish it, like you can do the surface, you can paint it, you can make it look cool. But with sewing, you can do so much more technique wise. You can add leather. You can you can
Well,
do
I mean, I
there's
think
so many
You can
different
add leather
techniques.
to
But with
foam.
foam,
that's the
you can
same with
bevel.
the
You
you
concept
can
can glue
build-
you can do
together.
textures on the surface, you can add lights, you can like there's
Yeah,
always
but
going to
I
be
still
things you can
think
add.
generally speaking, that you can do more with fabric. That doesn't mean that an armor costume can't win over a fabric costume, obviously. But
No.
usually the ones that are like, okay, we're getting into competition talk. God damn it.
always, but I think
We're-
anytime you're
We're
gonna have a
diverting.
build,
Yes.
whether it's a competition piece or it's just like a build that is like a wow build, right? To make it a little bit more
Mhm.
general, it's gonna have multimedias these days.
Yes,
Yeah.
multimedia
That's
is
what I
usually
was
the way to
actually
go.
That's what I was actually coming to. Like
Yeah.
initially the judges were mostly like judges who used to do a lot of sewing. So there used to be this perception that like general public would love like big armors more, but the judges would always prefer sewing, because that I think that used to be a case back in the time. Like I had seen, like I personally felt a few times that like that was the case, but not all the time. But now I think, because like even the people who are sewing are like 3D printing now, like, and everyone is like basically like everyone who is in a competition now is doing multimedia. It's very
Yes.
difficult to win. It's very
think-
difficult to win
If-
everything with just
If you're
like
doing
one.
a competition
Yeah,
now,
go
it has to have it.
It's gotta
To
be
me, it
multimedia
has to
most of the
include
time.
everything.
Yeah,
Well, not
even like
everything, but it
sarcasm,
needs to have more than one thing.
Yes.
Right.
like even
yes.
sarcasm,
I
like
think
who had
also-
or even sarcasm, like who won New York Comic Con last year, because I judged her twice. So like she had like her like beautiful costume, but she needed to add like like the crown and everything. I do not consider crown to be part of sewing. Like it's a prop. So like crown, and she had this heart that she kind of molded with like
Yep.
transfer woven and everything. So even like the people who are doing sewing work, like even Cowbird Crunchy, she did like her corset and everything. She always adds like a real like weird prop or like wig work or something to add to the sewing. So everyone needs to do multiple things to win a big competition now.
Okay,
So I
what
think
was
that's
the
why the judges
original
need also.
question?
I don't
Yes,
even know.
I don't even
Oh,
remember. But let's,
I think-
while we're on this topic, Samir, because you were a part
No, the
of
question was this, like the question was sewing versus foam. So we were still talking about that. Yeah.
you didn't select a mimic from at New York City Comic Con, and then this guy like went online. Does anybody know this
We're
story?
talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. We're
I
not
think-
gonna do
Like
it.
flashing.
I think what's hard.
I do personally feel that like people were a bit too harsh on him, because like again, like see, I have been in that position where like again I have been in competitions where I felt like I should have won, but I did not win. The thing is, back like when I was young, I didn't have a platform to like run my mouth, but I definitely did it with my friends. I was like, it was not done. Like I should have won, and blah blah blah. And then I bitched about it to my friends. But if I had like a like social media back then, I would probably have put a status on Facebook or something. So he was a kid, like he was really young, and like I think it was I hope like the Repop people don't see it. Like I think it was the fault of the host, because like he kind of like hyped up the crowd to like shout who they think is the winner, which is I think it's a big no. Like you should
Yeah.
never do
Definitely.
that.
Definitely.
Yeah,
you
that's
should
not
never
good.
do this.
Volume,
I hate it.
decibels, and who's yelling louder.
Yeah,
I
like,
think
right,
there's
it's
something
like-
else as well when you see, like, I don't know, I don't have my eye on big competitions, but I do have my eye on smaller competitions that are local. When you see people who are competing at smaller levels, and you're seeing, and I think it may have to do with it, like kind of what you're saying, Samir, is there's the same amount of effort. It's just focused on different parts of the cosplay, right? There's a lot of effort put into sewing the patterns together, while foam doesn't actually take that much to push these together. The rest of the energy goes somewhere else. So a lot of people will look at, so for example, I was in a competition recently where everyone who won an award, even though there was multimedia cosplays and there was foam cosplays, I competed in there as well, and I'm an entire foam armor piece. That was the Green Goblin. Everyone who won had sewn their cosplay. There wasn't a single multimedia piece. There wasn't a single, like, one person had lights in their shirt, so maybe multimedia there. But I'm talking, there was like there was a big head, like a Star Fox with like the massive head style thing. Everyone who won had sewn a piece. All they were doing was sewing. When you see that over and over and over again, there could be a lot of people that, and I'm glad I actually talked to Avera beforehand on the podcast where we talked about it, because I could talk to her about judging, and she was telling me how it's like it's not a big conspiracy, but some people will look at that and go, there must be a pendulum swing where foam crafting is sort of taken for granted. Everyone can do foam, but not many people can do sewing. How many people can do sewing? That's really, really cool.
Well, there's so many different factors, though.
But exactly, that's the point, is what I'm saying is when someone, like you're saying, the layman, or even someone like me who is very much into cosplay but not into competing, looks at the competitions and goes, right, but everyone who wins is sewing. That's what they're doing. So that means to win, you must sew. That's not the case. But it kind of, like, I'm playing devil's advocate from someone who can look from the outside in.
Right.
It's going to depend on the judging. Like, you don't see the costume up close.
Yes.
So it's trust your judges. They're the ones
that
situation
that they have good judges.
Yes.
Also, there's the thing that like there's a thing that people like kind of don't keep in mind, is that like sewing has been here forever. You know, like you can, like when you are making a sewing costume, you can take references and techniques that have been developed for like centuries, like literally centuries. True. Right.
True.
And foam crafting or like armor crafting has been here since Evil Dead has been here, you know.
Evil Dead built this in a cave.
Like people have not discovered
the box of scraps.
Hot glue.
People have not discovered
with the hot glue.
People have not discovered the scope of stuff. Like when Brittany said like there's less stuff that you can do in armor, I disagree. It's just people have not discovered like the Matthew Barry who won the competition this year. Like he electroplated his Wobla and everything, and like even though like electroplating has been there forever, Wobla has been there forever, no one has like mashed these two together. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that people have not tried, and like of course, when you're talking of sewing, you're considering all kinds of sewing. But when you're considering armor, you're only thinking of either like that foam crafting is different, 3D printing is different, Wobla is different. No, this is all armor, this is all foam. So like when you're making armor, you can mix and match. So like silicone comes in this, like, you know, all kinds of like flexible armor making, like urethane and whatever.
White plastic dip is the devil.
Oh my God. I'm good friend. Really quickly, guys, travel back in time with me. I grew up in the Midwest, and every year I would go to costume contests with my friends, and we'd make these crazy costumes. And every year, somebody who did this beautiful sequence gown would win. And it was a point where we were in the Midwest, and so it was all about the sewing. And so it was this weird dichotomy.
Pendulum swift.
Right, because when I started, we're talking like early in the, like late 70s, early 80s. We were my friends. We make my friend Tom, and they built these Ninja Turtle costumes out of upholstery foam. So these guys showed up. This is when Ninja Turtles was a comic book, and before it was a movie. My friends embraced the comic book so much they dressed up as Ninja Turtles. So they showed up on stage. Each one was like foam fabricated the Ninja Turtles, right? They jump on stage and had the nunchucks they put on the show, but the girl that won the competition was the giant
big gown.
The big gown with a head sequence with beads and everything, and 15,000 like sequence beads. I'm like, granted, and that's when I realized these are different This is a different thing. Why these guys on the same stage? This is a different animal. But going to the Midwest, I was so frustrated. I was so angry. And so what happened was, true story, back in 1989. Batman was coming out, and I saw pictures, and I'm like, that's it. I want to be Batman. So I sculpted the cowl, made a stone mold, made rubber latex. I foam fabricated muscles, stretched a spandex suit over it, made a cape out of vinyl to make the look like the cape in the movie. I had the extension rod, so when he lit the cape, it was really huge.
Did the thing.
Right, did the whole cape thing. I had my friend. I did makeup on him like the Joker. I showed up. I did this whole thing. The crowd went nuts. And I got best in show because they assumed I bought the costume.
Wow.
And again, guys, I was young. I was like 24 at the time. I was devastated. I'm like, what? I was so mad. And I look back on it now, and it was kind of a compliment in a weird way, because they never saw anything like that at the time. And that same year, I packed my bags and moved to California. So
that's awesome.
Could I ask a question of a bit more like experienced people? Is there something to certain cons may be a little bit more open or a bit more like foam. What I'm thinking of is when I'm thinking of BlizzCon. You're thinking of Blizzard, and you're thinking World of Warcraft, you're thinking all of these big armor builds, and so I feel like maybe sewing wouldn't have the spotlight on it that it does in, say, other cons. Is that a thing? I'm just kind of going off of my brain. If you've got a con that's focused on a theme, and that theme is armor.
Okay. So,
No?
all right.
Yes,
Well, I want to get my 2 cents out really quick.
Yeah.
Okay. So competitions are subjective when it comes to judges.
Yeah.
It's subjective. That's why I always need to know who my judges are every time I do a competition. If I have 3 sewing judges, for instance, I'm going to get judged different than if I was judged by 3 armor people. And that might be positive and it might be negative. 3 sewing people, guess what? They don't know nothing about foam. They might judge me favorably or they might judge me unfavorably based on knowing nothing about foam or knowing a lot like foam.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And like so,
Yeah.
and
That
also
can change just in
That's
that
the
one
answer right
thing.
there.
And then the other thing is, if the judges are not qualified, that can affect your entire day as well. I don't think that foam is looked down on in any way against sewing. I think that when you have a sewing costume next to an armor costume and one is foam and the other one's all sewing, that if you have qualified judges, they're able to see this one has more work than this one or vice versa. They're just able to tell if they're qualified.
yeah, I think like the judging has gotten much better over time. Like I said, like there used to be a bias for sure. There used to be a bias for sure, like because a lot of judges were sewing people because they were the one who were like more they could make out more costumes. So like earlier on, like I mentioned before, the more content you can create, the bigger your following used to get. So, but like I think nowadays, like conventions are like more aware that like they need to have like a varied panel. They need to have people who know like every discipline.
For sure.
So like it has gotten much better. And like what you said is actually right. Like there are some properties like Blizzard. It would be difficult to find a character in Blizzard which is all sewing. Like there's always going to be some
that's true.
huge ass like shoulder somewhere, you know. So like it always.
Well, that's the thing is that it's not necessarily the contest; it's who shows up for those contests.
That's another thing.
Kind of be like everybody who goes to Crown knows that the winner of C2E2 is going to be a very mixed media, multidisciplined person.
Yeah, usually, yeah.
If you don't go to C2E2 with leather crafting and like, you're probably not gonna like. So they draw because everybody who shows up there shows up with that. That's
but I would say that's one of the most. That is the hardest competition in the U.S.
Yeah.
BlizzCon is attracting people who do Blizzard costumes, and guess
that's
what?
true.
Yeah.
It's good.
Some people are making their own shoes in C2, so that's too much.
Something like Fan Expo is a pretty big mixed bag. And I think if you look at the winners over the last couple of years, it's a very mixed bag. There's been all sewing, there's been all armor, there's been a giant Warhammer build, and there's been a Sekizo. There's it's a very mixed bag. People are like,
you said, whoever turns up.
It's more about who turns up, and it kind of gets a rep from there. TwitchCon is about gaming, so it's going to attract armor because it's about gaming. Right. Hallmat is gonna attract sewing because it's mostly anime. It's an anime convention.
And performance. Performance.
I performed in armor. I did it. I did.
You did it.
I moved and I held a huge, massive head in armor. It was so difficult, but hey, I did it.
I watched it. Dude. We were supposed to leave for Christmas, and I was like, honey, I'm sorry, but this whole mat
I'm doing something right now.
The whole mat competition.
I'm watching people perform in armor and move in armor like anyone in sewing can do.
When people can do performance in armor, that blows my mind. I've only performed one time, and it was in armor, and it was the one time I decided to do an entire armor set of fucking Warbler.
No.
And my swords too, and they were so heavy. They were so heavy. But then the other people that there was one other person who did a full armor set. He ended up winning because it was fucking amazing. But it was all foam, and I didn't know I didn't know yet.
You didn't
That's
know.
But he moved so easily and nothing was an issue. It was amazing, actually.
Sewing is also easier for fit and movement. And
That's
it
true.
is a costume contest,
true.
not a statue contest. And getting movement
That's-
and fit and proportions and foam is a lot harder.
That's why larger than life isn't much of a thing
area.
anymore, is because you
The
can't fucking
shoulders.
move.
you can't move on stage. You know,
Can't
no one
move.
wants to see this, right? You want to see that. When you can go out on stage like and in your aerial and you could twirl around and stuff like
Yep,
that, and it looks
true.
amazing. And when we're in armor, it's very difficult,
Yeah.
you know.
But that's
a-
why
that's a
armor,
good
like
point.
the armor people have had to up their game and make things more movable.
So I think that's the
about
thing,
that.
like which came up. I just want to quickly point out. I think the best way and the easiest way to win a competition is basically, like, of course, like do everything nicely, finish everything nice, but you gotta have something that no one has seen before. That gives you so much points. Like if you do something that no one has seen before, that
Something
That's how
automatically.
Nerds Gone Mild won her thing. Like
Yeah.
she was
Yeah.
literally groundbreaking. Everything
Yeah.
she did. Like I
She
got
was
to
literally
just
breaking
out of
ground. She was pulling things from the ground and like using
She grew. She literally grew her plants to make her cape.
It's not literally that she grew them, it's that she was doing stuff that nobody was
No,
doing.
Right.
And in such a like groundbreaking way. So like
Right.
Oh, it was
I
fun.
can't say enough good things about her costume
was
for
fun.
C2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Virginia
oh, by
Jones.
the way, really quickly, people were asking in chat, if you guys want to see my Batman costume, go to eviltedsmith.com and it's there. Go to my photos, it's in there. So I have my Batman costume.
Hold
Is it
on,
like
I
one of the
gotta
last
change
ones
We're
in
all
there
going
because
right
it's
now.
from a
We should
while
actually do
ago?
a whole chat session of just Evil Ted memory lane. Just everything from
EvilTedSmith.com.
the early
That
days.
know what
Yeah,
this
someone in the
is.
chat says like Evil Ted versus like Uncle Jesse. That would be fun to see.
Someone should just link it in the chat. That way we can all just like.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
even know
I'd
what the
be
topic
there.
is anymore.
I have no I did.
like
I saw
absolutely no
if people
idea.
want to see it. It was one of
Photos.
my was one of the few costumes I was so pumped for Batman. And at the time, people were not thrilled about Michael Keaton being Batman. It was a big
Yeah.
thing.
And now they're
it
all
was-
excited about it.
so when I went, I literally saw that movie with my friend Debbie, went and saw it, and then literally within months I packed up and moved to California. So it was so funny.
Yeah.
I went for that, saw the movie, did the convention, then packed my bags and went to California.
I thought you said you hated the 80s Batman's movies.
Me?
Yeah. So you hate the one with Poison Ivy and George
Yeah.
Clooney.
Here's the thing.
That was my first Batman movie. I love it. I'm sorry.
Here's the funny story, guys. I worked on Batman Returns. We were working on the Batmobile, the Batboat, and all this stuff.
The
And
Batboat.
that was with George. That was with
Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer
Val
and Nicole
Kilmer.
Kidman.
yeah, Val Kilmer, and then everybody hates the nipples.
Bat nipples.
Yeah, the bat nipples. Yeah, there it is. That's it. That's me. That's my Michael
Okay, I
Keaton
gotta look
Batman.
at it. I
That's
gotta
you?
look at it.
That's wild.
Awesome.
It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice
Thank you.
considering how long ago it was. Like your belt looks like it's 3D printed.
Dude, ready for that? It's poster board.
I'm one of
Is
those
it?
people who's
all
always gonna
possible.
defend Batman and Robin and Godzilla. I love American Godzilla and I love Batman and Robin. I saw those movies as a kid, it blew my mind.
Your mom made the cape.
Yeah.
Because
I can't
that
sew.
cowl is legit though. That
So
Thank
cowl
you.
is legit.
when
I-
was the Batman? What year? Like when was it?
1989.
89,
wow.
I know. Because
That's legit.
I was 9 years old. I remember that.
I was
That was
born.
fun.
Oh my God,
I
you guys are
was-
that. You guys are so
No.
young.
I am not.
Yeah, I was a little young.
I'm the closest to you. I'm all you got. I'm
I
like the
wasn't born
last
yet.
year of Gen X. So
I was about to be born.
Yeah, same.
See, guys,
I love
it's for everybody. It cosplays for every
Cosplay
age.
is for everybody.
Exactly.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love seeing older people cosplay too because they can cosplay some of the things that no one else can cosplay, and I kind of love that.
If anybody has never experienced Dragon Con's
Oh,
where
here we
everybody
go. Oh,
Here we
everybody
go. It's
everybody
gonna be
brings their A
problem now.
game. Everybody brings their A game. I've never been so blown. I went once, and I haven't been back since because I got married and have kids now. But the thing is, I want to get back out there because I was so impressed with the level of cosplay of just people walking around with such obscure costumes. There was a woman dressed
Ooh.
as the brain that wouldn't die. And if you guys don't know that film,
What?
it's- the brain that wouldn't die. And it was a severed head that wouldn't die. It's an old 50s film. An old 50s film. It was a severed head on a plate with electrodes hooked up to it. And this woman built this costume, and her head was on a table, and she carried this thing around and dropped down on her knees. And I was like, as soon as I saw him, like, going, holy crap, that's the brain that would never die. It's like,
That's
I'm
awesome.
old. I know that movie. And then there's a guy dressed as Zardoz, this old 70s Sean Connery sci-fi film. There it is.
Oh my god.
Her husband is doing that at Dragon Con
for
this
Dragon
year.
Con for my husband.
Dude, that thing is awesome. I was at Dragon Con. Somebody's dressed as Zardoz. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Like
I was just
I had
about to
that. I had that happen last year. There was a whole group that was cosplaying the movie Twister. Like they had Twister, they had two flying cows. So like the guy who was the Twister who was like running around, and there were like two cows who were like running around with them. It was just crazy.
Have you ever been back to Dragon Con?
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. There was a guy dressed as a vending. It was an arcade game with arms on it. It was from the game. It was an independent film called Kung Fury.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it was in the game that he fights an arcade game robot. That
And he
pumps
was
out
dressed
arms.
as that.
And there's a guy dressed as that character, and I was like, "Oh, I saw him. I had my camera, and I was trying to get a picture of him, but he was moving too quickly." And it's like, "Oh, I missed him." And then there was a girl dressed as a queen, a sexy queen alien over here, and I'm like, "Oh my God!" So I was trying, and here's the weird thing about it: you see them once, and you think, "Oh, I'll get them later." Nope, you never see them again.
You never see him again.
The convention.
The only two cons I've ever been to that are like that are Dragon Con and Walmart.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
Amanda's got a Teletubby. You did a Teletubby group. Sexy
I did.
Teletubbies. Like,
Yes.
that's the only con where it's like, okay, what are we going to be? And you're
Okay.
like, okay, here's what we're going to be. We're going to be, SpongeBob SquarePants sexy.
Yeah. Dragon Con is freaking crazy. I will say Dragon Con's like the only convention where you can go somewhere as something go as something extremely obscure, and at least one person will know what you are. I got to do that for somebody a couple years ago now.
Yep.
Somebody was dressed as the Mad Hatter from the original Batman TV show from 1969. He was dressed as the Mad Hatter, and nobody knew who he was. But I walked up to him and I was just like, "Are you the Mad Hatter from the 1969 Batman TV show?" And he's like, "Nobody has known who I am this entire convention." And I'm just like, "I know who you are."
Yeah.
Are you going back then or no?
What's that?
Are you going to Dragon Con or no?
Here's my thing. Not this year, but next year. Because
Okay.
Next year I'm also
We should
coming.
go.
I've never
because,
been.
but here's the thing. I figured out.
No, it's just like whole mat on steroids.
I figured out exactly
on
what
steroids.
I know what I'm going to do for Dragon Con next year.
All right, what are you doing?
It is obscure, and
That's fine.
if 2 or 3 people get me, I'm going to be pumped.
Yes, and you probably will be gotten.
Yeah, it's an old Shaw Brothers film from the 70s called. Wrap your heads around this, kid. You'll be googling it soon. Super Inferman.
Someone's going to love that. I'm going to have to
Super
Google that one.
Inferman. Inferman, like it's Super
Gotta
Inferman.
use go Google Magic.
Yeah, and-
Okay. Okay.
and it's a superhero. It was a Chinese superhero movie that the Shaw
damn.
Brothers did, and it's
Okay.
it's one of the best nonstop action films I've ever seen in my life.
Super Info Man?
No,
Infra.
like
Looks like-
infrared. That guy.
Oh.
Okay.
Super Inframan.
That's the Superman symbol, guys.
How dare you? That's the Shaw Brothers. They don't do wrong.
Okay.
Anyways, like anyone who was asking like if like cosplay competition leads to elitism, you can see like so we enjoy
There he is.
both the spectrums. Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
Anyway, like so like this should tell you that we enjoy both these spectrums. We enjoy like the craft when it's like done to the max, and we also enjoy like the really, really, really creative dumb shit because
Oh,
that's
we
fun.
love the dumb shit.
Yeah, we
We
love
love
the
the dumb shit.
Okay,
You know what
well, guys,
I'm doing
so-
at Dragon Con is a feral trash animal group, and I actually ordered a custom trash can for us to worship like an altar. So I'm gonna be the pigeon, and I actually have like I bought that so I can pattern my foam head off of it.
Yes, well,
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in it.
Unfortunately, guys, I got to get going, but thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. It was great talking with everybody.
All right,
And then
bye.
thank you,
Bye.
Gotta be an
Got
adult
really out of
now.
it was
control.
it was a pleasure to meet you, man. Thank you so much for
Hey,
joining us.
No, thank you. You as well.
Plug your Etsy real quick because you
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
it.
So I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and Etsy. Basically, if you see this skull, that's my logo, I guess. So you can see me there. It's the Freakish Workshop across all of those. Again, on Etsy, I sell patterns, niche and very basic. And my YouTube, I've got all my tutorials for free. I've got So You Want to Be a Cosplayer, which I mentioned, and I also have a Foam Crafting 101 series that I'm in the middle of.
Sorry.
Oh, no, it's all good. So anyway, thank you very much for having me, though. I appreciate it. This was really good talking to everybody. Obviously, making friends is the best part about this hobby, right? So it's been great. And if you guys have any questions about armor, again, you can ask me or ask any of us, I'm sure. So anyway, I'm
We
going to get
actually
going.
solved no one's questions about armor.
That's true.
Yay!
So yeah, just shoot me
Again, you just
a
have to
message
do
or comment on YouTube or something. But yeah, have a good night, guys.
Nice.
I mean,
Night.
I think we did like a couple little tidbits, but
I think we did too.
Well, what do you
Do
expect?
you have more questions? Like, did you have like prepared more questions related to armor? We
Also,
can carry on with the podcast
like,
now.
people are just talking smack in this chat about
Beyond the
like,
World Beyond the World cosplay, I do know what that is, and I hope I get to see it. I hope I do.
There's, like,
because
no-
that's great.
Hey, guys,
You should put the pyramids.
Oh, yeah,
You should
I
put
mean,
the
there's, like,
pyramids on your
kinds
chest.
of,
That would
like,
be hilarious.
hey guys, really quickly, since I announced that I'm going to do Super Inframan next year for
I'm
Drag,
doing a Kung
Wait,
Pao cosplay of Betty.
as Super Inframan for next year, there's a lot of villains in that show. So if you guys watch that show and you see any villains you want to do, guys, please reach out to me
You
because
have to join my
I wanna
group.
join
you have to
that
join my
group.
group because
Yeah.
I'm going to be Super Inframan. So here's
Sorry about
you
that.
guys. Wait. You have to watch the movie first.
Okay.
Then
Why
you
the movie
understand.
first? Is it like watching the Batman 1969 movie first and then watching
This
the TV
no,
show?
how
There's
dare
a lot.
how dare you? How dare you? This film is golden magic. It's like there's
Inframan movie.
Yeah, there's a
Super
lot of
Inframan
villains.
movie, guys. It's like you gotta see the movie.
I-
Watch
There's
the
like
movie.
all these
Is it
guys
in
in the
English?
background. Like all
Is it
those
in
guys.
First of all, Avery,
In
really
English.
quickly,
It's
she can
actually
cosplay
like-
Evil Dragon
Those are
Mom.
kind of cool.
Evil Dragon
Look at
Mom.
Look at these
Yeah.
guys. They're like
Wait till you see
bugs,
wait till you see the
something.
movie, and you're gonna want to play this character.
Those things. Look at
You're
that.
gonna-
That
Oh
is
my
you,
God.
Nicole.
No,
Even Dragon Mom
That
actually
is
Or is
you.
it subbed?
Guys, I'm gonna be Super
Nicole.
Inframan next year. So if you guys want to be a villain,
Oh,
you better-
I want to
you
be
better-
Evil Dragon Mom. Is it this chick right here?
Wait, show me. Is it the girl with the gold helmet with the big
I'm doing
thing?
that.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's
the
her.
demon
That's
princess
her.
Yeah,
Beelzebub.
I'm doing that right there.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah, bring up. Yeah, there she is. Evil
Oh,
Dragon Mom.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's
We should be
Avera.
watching the preview right now.
I think. Yeah,
I love
Evil-
that she has a dragon on her hand.
Yeah, that's
This
her
is
hand.
great. This is very, very, very Power Rangers.
This is
Yeah,
very.
she's
Yeah.
very. What's her name from Power Rangers? The
Rita Repulsa.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love that
Repulsa.
about
Yeah.
her. I love that
Evil,
for her.
evil Dragon Mom, guys.
Was
And,
this just like a style for a while that people just really like to emulate?
No. What happened was during the era in the '60s, Japanese television dominated. They were huge. They had super.
Mhm.
They had Power Rangers. They had Ultraman.
Super
the Chinese-
Sentai.
That is
Yeah,
unique.
and so what was happening was the Japanese were dominating, and the Chinese were like, "These guys are kicking our ass. We need to make a show like this." So the Shaw Brothers said,
So then they
Well,
copied it.
we'll make our own show. So they made Super Inframan, which is a copy of the Japanese pop culture. And I'm not kidding you guys. I've never seen a nonstop action packed show in my life. The action and the comedy is hysterical. It's not intention to be comedy,
Yeah.
but it's super hysterical. But there's these goons, these guys with motorcycle helmets with skulls. There's evil Dragon Mom. There's all the evil
All
monsters.
right. I'm writing it down.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, if it has
fine.
scales
Well, if
and
I-
skulls, I'm in.
Yeah.
You said,
Guys,
there-
once you
is
watch
there
it,
a time-
you're gonna
I'm
call back
watching
and
it. We're
you're gonna
in.
thank me.
We're
You're gonna
in.
thank me.
It doesn't matter
gonna-
what you do. I just want to be
We're
in.
in. Yeah.
Yeah,
Super
She's got a
guys are-
giant
man.
skull, though.
Anything.
You guys are
Is
gonna watch
there-
this movie and thank me. I'm telling you.
Is there
Add to
like a
box.
cosplay? Is there like an armor aesthetic that
We
when
got a
you're
movie
like
to
you
add
see
to
it-
our box.
Yeah,
when you see it, you're like, that's my jam. I'm in. Because like
Yeah.
for me, if it's got scales, organic textures, or a skull,
You're
I'm
like, I'm in.
that's evil
Yeah.
Dragon Mom. You're evil Dragon Mom. I'm
like,
telling you right
or
now.
if it's got like horns and wings, I'm like,
So it's like
Son
a.
of a bitch, I'm
no
in.
way.
Like, what aesthetic for you are you like? Son of a bitch, I am in. I feel like Amanda, you're like right on me. Like you're like
Yeah.
right there.
I like
I feel like we're
anything
the
that looks like it swallows me.
I like
Yeah.
hard bevel.
We'll watch it. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll watch it and I'll tell you
Wait.
because we have a bad movie group, which doesn't mean that we're watching a bad movie.
Oh,
By
how
any
dare
means.
you!
I didn't expect.
Hard.
I didn't expect. I didn't.
Okay, we
Be
have
us
a
to
movie
discuss
group
gore.
and we'll watch it and I'll tell you what I think of it.
Yeah, trust me. I'll be on before you watch it. You've never seen anything like this. It's insane.
Okay.
The
I'll
first time I
probably
saw
watch it.
Gabe,
the
you're
first time here's the thing. I
Sorry.
caught this. I saw this show back on the USA Network. Was a guy named Captain USA. It was this like Saturday matinee movie, and he watched it. And years later, they finally released a DVD of the original director's cut of Super Inframan. I went out and bought it, and it came with a book and the story behind it, and I fell in love with it. And now when I watch it, I just can't. I love it. So I'm thinking, I am going to make Super Inframan. Where would I
You
premiere
should.
this? So where would I premiere
Dragon
this?
Con is it. Dragon Con is so it.
So where would I
buttload
premiere
of
this
bevel.
costume at? Dragon Con.
all right.
Yes, you absolutely should.
I'm gonna bring a
That-
cutout of Evil Ted, and we're gonna put it in the lobby. Of the
Actually, you
Marriott,
know
just
what
like,
we should do is when you are there,
Of
we could
evil
do like a candlelight vigil for you.
Just
like-
I carry it in
because
the
he won't
morning
get
of.
there, okay? No,
Guys,
my
unfortunately,
idea-
I really wanted to go
Okay.
and I couldn't make it this year.
Okay.
But I'm
But
making my
next
goal
year
to
we
go
could
next year.
literally do a
there.
candlelight vigil. Like if we
But-
if we put out like a call, it said, "Hey, we're gonna like all walk with candles," and
But-
this
Oh my
would be an
God.
homage to Evil
With
Ted.
Evil
No, it would
But-
be. It'd be a
Yeah, like,
thing.
it would
It
happen.
would be a thing.
But
Yeah.
Amy, you have to. If
Easy.
you have to be Evil Dragon Mom. You please have to.
Please, you're like, please.
He's
Dragon
still
Con.
on it. He's like, you have to.
I will
How
be.
You
many
have-
of you guys
Dragon
are
Ball.
going to Dragon Con, by the way? I know Samir's not going. I know the Ted's not going. Are
I'm
the rest
going.
of you
I'm
guys
not-
going?
Yeah, yeah.
I can't make it. This
I'm
year,
in the
guys.
trash animal.
Can't
group.
go? Okay.
He's the seagull.
I'm a
in my-
seagull in the trash.
Okay.
animal
My
group.
trash animal
Okay.
group.
Yeah.
I really, really want to do a group this year where we cosplay as other cosplayers for one of the evenings when we're just chilling.
I'm
Yes.
down.
Somebody just be
A
a Teletubby
variant?
for in
For you to be
Cosplayer
you.
not
variant.
being there.
I can't.
Like
be
we could
that
all just
small
like
and
wear
skinny.
wigs of the like if we were gonna be Steve, for instance, Steve would be like the backwards turned hat with the Adidas symbol and like an
Can I
SKS
be
prop shirt.
Ganoza?
for
I
instance.
would-
You
I would
could.
totally be Ganoza.
And then
I'd
you
be a
just get to
unicorn.
interpret it
I
however you
get like
want.
I'll get a dimple, and then like I'll get like the wig.
No,
and then
no,
I'll,
you'll
like-
take like a Google eye and you'll
Yeah.
paint it silver and you'll stick it on your face. with
No, I'm
spirit
gonna
gum.
go all out. I'm gonna get like what is it? The thing that like puts your scar. You do
Oh,
the
the
two
scar
sides.
stuff and then
yeah,
put a
yeah, yeah.
rhinestone on it.
Do
I
it.
think, I think it's called collodion or something like that.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
that.
But I would
got-
love to do
Dova
that. I
gave
want to
me
do a
some.
cosplayers
Anyway.
cosplaying cosplayers group.
Hey kids, I love you guys. I'm old. I gotta go. I gotta take care of my
All
family.
right.
Again, everybody,
I don't
guys.
even know what this chat is anymore.
This
I've
guy,
lost control.
stop. No, it's been an
It's
absolute.
fine.
It's been an absolute blast. Everybody's enjoyed it. Everybody, thank you for joining us today, guys. Thank you for hanging out in chat and asking what little questions we got in there. This was a blast, guys. Thank you. Terrible body
Yeah,
tickets.
it was
Thank
awesome.
you. Okay, guys.
That's awesome.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Everybody was awesome. Samira, a great. It's always love to see you. Let us know when you come back to town. So I'd love to see you because
I'm,
everybody
gonna,
come through.
I'm coming back. I'm coming back next week. I'll see you.
Next week?
I'm
Alright.
coming back next week.
Well, dude, reach out to me. We'll hook up. We'll hang out. Okay.
Yes. Awesome.
Alright, guys.
Awesome.
Bye,
Why are
guys.
you not going to Dragon Con if you're gonna be? In
Yeah,
the
why aren't you going to Dragon Con if you're going to be in the US within 2 months of the convention?
Within 2 months. Yeah.
Okay,
Why didn't I
I'm
just
out. All right. Now,
Bye,
now, it's,
Ted.
now it's
Bye.
getting hot.
Bye,
Now it's getting,
Ted.
see you guys.
Bye.
Love everybody. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, for real. Like, why aren't you gonna?
I got grilled at immigration this time. Why were you in US 2.5 months last time? Why in US 1 month this time? Why were you in US for 5 months in
yeah,
2020? And I'm like,
I like to travel. What do you want?
I'm a
Just let me
cosplayer.
do the thing.
I were.
I literally got
Like-
grilled for like 15. I mean, technically speaking, I come on tourist visa, and when I come, I do gigs and I get money. So I am kind of,
You got to
doing
be
shady
careful
shit.
about that.
Yeah.
Dragon Con, you won't be working.
What?
Dragon Con, you won't be working, so you can do your job and then just kind of
Yeah.
like.
I mean, but it
Yeah,
doesn't
but if
matter
it goes
to.
for 2 months,
Yeah.
really
That's when they're like, why are you here so long? Like, what the
They're,
fuck do you
they're
do?
watching the stream right now, like.
it's like, you know what? Listen, I'm just traveling, okay?
Yeah.
It takes a long time to get from one place in the U.S. to another. In
It's
a
so
car.
big. I don't know.
It's
It
so
just
big.
gets
I have so many
long.
friends. I gotta meet everyone. I just gotta meet
I went
them.
to Texas. They have like guns.
I really want like so that's
Say that.
I have been to I counted I have been to 26 states
The gun.
and there's like
Nice.
there's only like I think there's only one state that is left that I want to come, and that's Texas. Like there's like other cities I want to go. I want to go to New Orleans. That's the only city I haven't been to yet. But I want to come to Texas.
Don't.
Yeah.
You just said there's only one state I haven't come in, and that's Texas.
I have come to. I said
Oh my
come
Gone to.
Here, oh my god.
Just trying to clarify.
to. I haven't been to that one state.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you should just stay until Dragon Con.
Yeah, probably.
I really wish I could have, but I have another thing cooking up for that time. So really excited about that.
Fine.
Yeah.
Be responsible.
I don't even know what the chat is. So this is Armor 101.
Yeah.
And I hope that people have learned a lot.
This is just cosplay 101, I guess.
Listen, we're just chilling. We're just
Put a bunch of
chilling.
cosplayers in a
It's been
video
Armor
chat.
101 for a little
Stay
bit.
focused.
Competition 101.
You know
Sewing
what?
101.
They got us started on competition, and it was just
Dragon
gonna keep
Con
going.
101.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
true.
It
If
is
we want to do a
Foam
Dragon
101.
Con stream, I'd be so in on that because like
Turn
I could
into
probably talk about
1001.
Yeah,
it.
that would be good. And again, like the one thing that is like, there's like I think of like two like there's only like some cons like have like their own like thing, right? And like Hallmat and Dragon Con are the two for me that have like they're like a thing. Like they have.
I
their
heard that
thing.
MagFest is similar.
I've never been there.
I haven't either, but I've heard that it's like a mini
It's
Dragon
like the
Con. is
it's
what I
like the
Basically.
more grown up version of Katsucon
what I
from what
hear.
I've heard.
Okay. Oh, Katsu has its own thing.
Yeah.
Well,
Right, I've
Katsu
heard
has its
that.
own thing, but I've heard that MagFest is similar to Dragon Con. It's just smaller.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I want to go now just because of that, because I fucking love
So
Dragon Con. I love to do
MagFest
Dragon
is
Con
in the
twice a
same
year.
building as it's in the same
Katsucon.
building as Katsucon. Gotcha.
Yeah.
With the
It's the
gazebo
same.
that people take craps in.
Same.
Shit in
Yeah.
the gazebo.
What,
You have
people
to shit in the gazebo when you go.
I don't know. People shit in the gazebo. It's
No,
a thing.
they don't.
That's what I've heard. That's
No,
what you
it
do.
was a rumor, but I was there
Like
that year. I
bare
saw no
bottom
shit in the
shitting
gazebo.
gazebo?
I feel like that's more likely to happen at Colossal Con.
Oh, God.
Colossal Con's more of a convention where
Pee
someone
in,
do something.
pee in the pool.
Pee in the pool.
The
Better than
pool.
shitting in the
Fuck the
gazebo.
But you can pee in the pool.
You know how much is
Yeah.
involved? Wow.
I really want to come to Hallmark next year.
Do you have those just saved?
That's my next goal.
Yeah,
Hallmark.
there we
It's
go.
made it really great.
Hallmark.
That's a
Hallmark's
ribbon.
gonna
I'm
be
making
at
that a
the new location this upcoming year too.
Yeah, I heard that the old because I've never been to Hallmat. I've heard that the old location was where it was at, and so it won't be
Yeah.
the same if they change.
So
location.
I'm actually very excited for it to move because it turned into let's see how shit-faced drunk you can get, which I mean that's fine if you want to do that, cool. But I'm there
You can get
for
shit-faced drunk anywhere, so
yeah.
Well-
so you can still get shit-faced in the new location. It's just going to
Yeah.
be a bigger. It's going to be bigger. It's in the Orange County Convention Center, so it's going to be
Mhm. So you think it'll
way
be okay?
more space.
The best
It's
part
going to be
about
perfectly
Hallmat-
fine.
The best
Okay,
part of
'cause from-
Hallmat was the nighttime, like
Yeah.
They'll
handles.
still have
nighttime
that. They're
vibe.
going to
They're
have
still gonna
that
have that
at
in the high-
the. Yes,
yeah.
it'll just be the
honestly
same
don't
thing.
see.
Yeah.
I really don't see like what convention space does. Like like I've been to like a few convention and all of them were like in widely different locations. As long as you have people that you have fun with, it doesn't really matter what the
Exactly.
It
location
does matter. No, sometimes it does. Okay, listen. If they changed Dragon Con to all the hotels and they took that and they switched it to a convention center, do you think it'd be the same?
Nope.
I don't think it would be the
But
same.
like that's
There's
the whole concept
no
of Dragon
fucking
Con.
way it would be the same.
No, but the whole point of Dragon Con is the 4 hotels. Like those hotels organize the
That's true.
convention, so it's a different thing. So, but
Yeah,
like
but if
for
it
example,
changed, it would be different.
yeah,
I've
but
never
like
been, so I
then you will
can't
find
touch on that.
then you will find a
Right.
different kind of fun. Like like so like you would have to like of course it would not be the same, but I'm pretty sure like the spirit of it would still remain. Like it might
But
evolve into
It's not
something else.
going to outgrow those 5 hotels and an entire downtown area.
Nah.
I
Where
would literally.
Hallmat-
I would rather die. No, I would rather.
No, it's not. But Hallmat did.
I
Hallmat
would
did
rather they
outgrow.
cap
the
the
Hallmat
area.
ticket
did.
sales
It
than
did.
move it.
There was only
Yeah.
one bar. There was one lobby bar.
Yeah.
And it was like it outgrew the
Yeah.
space. to the
Yeah,
point
no,
where,
I
like,
get that
pool
because it sounds like
overrun.
Hallmat was too big for its britches.
It was.
That's what it
Yeah.
sounds
It
like.
got way too big. I've been going to Hallmat for about like 8 years now. So
Because it's the only convention, like it doesn't have a competition. It's the only convention like that. I don't know. It's only a big convention around that time. Like during Dragon Con, there's like so many other
There's
conventions
nothing,
going
yeah,
on
there's
because
nothing else
of the
around Christmas. Yeah.
Labor Weekend.
That's
But
right.
like,
So everybody has
during
stuff to
Hallmark, there's
do.
nothing. Yeah.
and the competition that Hallmat brings too.
Yeah.
It brings
with the international stuff.
It sounds like
Yeah.
it's really stiff.
Yeah.
it's so much fun though.
They have so
It
many
sounds
qualifiers. I think they have 4 qualifiers there, right?
Yeah, they have so many
Yeah.
prizes and
It's
so like
crazy.
there's like
I
20
think
prizes.
what was that
20
last year they
awards.
did GCOF, ECG, 2
WCS.
winners to Singapore,
WCS.
and
It's
then
amazing.
another trip. Like there was
The
not even just
WCS, it has
international.
WCS too.
And one thing they
Yep,
do
WCS.
for the contest is they do the prejudging like on Thursday and the
Oh, it's
contest
amazing.
on Sunday.
Is
So
it
you-
nice doing that
I
that way?
Yes,
love it.
get
And
it
then you
done
have,
and
like,
over with, and
Get it
not have to
out of
worry
the
about it
way.
until you
And
have to compete on
You
Sunday.
have like a banquet dinner
Sunday?
with everybody.
I always tell conventions like it's a really bad idea to do the competition on the last day, because the people who have made these
Yeah.
like complicated
Well,
costumes, they want to wear it on the floor, but they're not
Yeah,
going
they
to wear
want
it
it to be
before the
seen.
competition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wish
they're
they
not going to wear
would.
it.
I mean, I like the prejudging on Thursday. That's
I like the
amazing.
prejudging off the. It was. I didn't think
The
I
main
would
day.
like it, but it was actually the day before the con even started, so no
Yeah,
one.
that's
Yeah.
kind of awesome. I feel like I'd love
No
that.
one was
I mean,
there. It was tucked away. Well, the year that you competed, Avera, it was like tucked away into a little corner. Last year, I have to say, it was kind of terrible. They had it on. It was on a. I don't even remember because it was what
Oh,
Monday
it was a weird
through.
week. Yeah, it was a weird
Monday
week. Yeah.
or it was on a Tuesday. So the prejudging was on a Tuesday.
what?
Yeah,
they-
on
yeah.
the complete
It
other
was a weird
side
week.
of the con. So you had to walk through all of the people and everyone's stopping you, and I'm just like trying to book it to get through all these people to get to the prejudging, and then nobody told us where prejudging was.
Well,
Tuesday though? Tuesday?
It was on a Tuesday. It was Tuesday through Friday.
the
it was
con
during the
Tuesday
week.
through Friday,
Okay.
'cause Marriott was kicking them out.
That's
Yeah.
kind of weird though.
That's just, it is weird because
was
I've
weird.
never shown up to a convention any earlier than Wednesday, ever. And that's Dragon Con, and I go there for
Yeah.
6 days.
So a normal year for that convention, the
It'd be
con
Thursday through
it would have
Sunday.
been Thursday.
Yeah,
would have been the
yeah.
prejudging, and the con starts on Friday. So
Yeah.
and it
I
was nice
told
that
you we were
had
going to
things
keep
like
talking about freaking cosplay competitions. I
Who
knew this
even
was
knows
going to
what we're talking
happen.
about anymore? But that
Do you
it was-
have any other questions related to foam crafting? Avera?
does anybody who's still
Well,
watching
I don't
us have
know. Is
anything?
there-
Probably not.
We're not
it's
talking
No,
about
okay,
people are
though.
just talking.
They just want to hear
Yeah,
us.
there's your question.
I think
They just want to hear
Colmat-
us schmooze, I bet, probably.
I think Colmat will still be fun this year. Dragon Con is too big.
It's still
I
going to
mean-
be a lot of
I
fun.
mean, I would really like to go to Hallmat, and since it would be if I was going to go this year, which I'm thinking about going,
You definitely
Um,
should.
it would be my first time going, so I wouldn't really
Yeah,
know
so you have nothing
anything
to compare it to.
different.
Yeah.
I think it's a great thing that they changed locations,
I
but
do
that's
too.
just me.
It's
Yeah, it's just what I've heard from a lot of people. Also, this is what I would make if I were going to go. I would make this.
you
Oh,
should.
that's cute.
Barbie is
When it-
big. It'll be
And
a
carry
small-
around the Ken doll.
Yes.
I will be okay. So I'm making the gay Ken for my husband for Dragon Con. So like he's gonna carry that around, and I
I'm
made
just like,
myself
wait,
Shrek
what?
Barbie.
Gay Ken. What?
Oh,
Oh, he
Were you
missed
not here for that?
You would say-
the gay Ken. Well, he's not gay Ken. He has. what's
all
his
right.
name? What do they
So
call
this
him?
is gay Ken. It's not literally gay Ken, but this is gay
I'll be back in
Ken.
a second.
I'm pretty sure that like the guy who owns this stream is like, what is going on right now? Like, why are you?
Okay,
so-
well, you know
Well,
what?
he's
He's gonna
here.
have to deal with
Crazy.
all of my many
Yeah, we're
Barbies that
good.
I have. But anyways, this is gay Ken. He isn't actually gay Ken. Like he wasn't sold that way,
What's his
but
technical name? What they
he's
call
wearing his magic earring Ken. So
Magic earring
these
Ken.
little guys, these are actually earrings that a child can wear. But he has this
Interesting.
ring necklace that's very suggestive.
Yeah. So
And yeah, so my husband's gonna be this at Dragon Con, except I haven't. The only thing I have to make still is I want to make him like a shell hair type.
oh, so it looks
situation?
like a doll, like a.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah,
do like
yeah.
a EVA foam, like EVA.
Yes.
Even like the wig, the way they did it, where she's like put it into like.
It's like from the Santa Claus 2, where they make the doll version
Yes,
of Santa.
except that's probably
No,
rubber. I
The
think.
You think-
one,
yeah,
that, the one
I-
that just like was like, I can't remember her name, but she just did. She actually sliced small pieces of EVA foam to make individual hairs. Did you see that one?
I haven't, but I remember there was a cosplayer. I don't know who it was because I've been trying to look for them. It's a dude who is from another country, and he did a skit where he was Ken, and he had that, and I can't remember for the life of me who he was, and he did something similar to that, and I was like, I should use that to like
I've
maybe
done
ask some
foam. I've done
questions.
foam clay wigs. I mean, it could look good. But
Yeah,
you
it's probably
clay.
what
You
I'm
just hate
probably
the
gonna do
clay.
that. I'm probably gonna do foam clay and foam and just like make it. I already have the
It
basic
was.
masking tape shape,
I
but
want to say it was a crown qualifier or a fan expo qualifier.
the one that I'm
And
thinking
she
of
was
is an
just
ECG
she actually
qualifier.
she just came to, I want to say, like bullpen props or like punish props recently.
What are you
So
talking
her,
about? I missed it. Sorry.
her
What
suit,
Okay.
particular?
the
Talking
EVA
about
foam wig where she did the strands. She did like a link
Yeah, yeah,
costume.
yeah. So she did the costume for what's that? It Takes Two.
Okay.
was
And
it
she
Blinks
Yeah.
Costco by chance? Because they've been doing a lot of
I
foam
follow
wigs.
them. I'll have to look for them. I
and
think she was on. I think she was on. What's her name?
Punish
On Adam Savage's
But yeah,
podcast
Adam
too.
Savage. That's what it was. She was on that.
She was
she
on
was
Adam
Adam
Savage. Yeah.
Savage.
She
I
did.
want to
Yeah,
go
she
to
was on
Adam
Adam
Savage.
Savage.
How do I do
I
that?
don't know. You got to know Beverly or something.
You
You gotta
gotta
go
be
to.
cool.
You gotta go to
That's
I'm
SF.
not. I'm not cool enough for that.
I know.
Oh yeah,
How do
she
you
was
how do you
Adam
be cool
Savage.
enough to go to Adam Savage's workshop? I feel like I keep getting inundated
Yeah, how
with
do you
people
get
being
there?
like, "Oh
So
yeah, I just went to go see Adam Savage this
my
week. No big deal."
this is my biggest regret in life. And when I came to like 2020, when I came to like C2E2 in 2020, I went up to Adam Savage and I showed him I went in my costume and he was like, "Oh, this is really great." And I was like, and I was gonna go to SF after like the convention, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in SF. I would really love to visit your workshop and everything." I was like, "Yeah, sure." He gave me his email address and everything, so like that you can email me whatever, and then when you come, let me know. I'll let you be in my workshop. I was like, "Awesome." Then COVID hit, and then
you
everything
know.
closed down, and I could not go to SF, and I was so bummed
So
about
all
it.
you have to do is ask him them. You have to be like, "Listen,
Yeah, yeah,
I know how to
he's
make things. Can I come visit?"
if you have something like if you have like he's been doing it a lot now. Like if you have a costume which is like which looks kind of different or something, or like if you're doing something which is unique, they would have you on their they would have you on their workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they used
But
to
then
do
you gotta have it
tested-
out in
the
San
whole
Francisco.
the whole tested channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has been, which is kind of amazing. I love that cosplayers have been able to do that. That would be such an amazing thing to do.
How to make a foam? Yes. No, that's not the right one. But she
What?
basically made hairs out of EVA foam,
Mhm.
and then that might.
Well, it
be,
needs to be more of like a sculpted, like
Then
a
just do foam clay.
sculpted shape.
Like
If you want to make like look at
Lego hair.
Okido,
Lego hair.
look at Okido's what's that character from Borderlands with the lady?
Oh, foam wig stuff. Yeah.
The
No,
foam,
no, like
foam clay
she
wigs.
made like really nice sculpted wig. I'll send you the link.
Yeah. I'll
I'll
figure
send
it
you my-
out. It's
I'll
not as
send you
hard as
my.
what I'm thinking.
I did. What's his name from My Hero Academia? For somebody. What's the main dude? The
Bak
Deku.
No.
no,
Deku.
the main
Bakugo.
dude.
It's all
All Might.
All Might.
They
All
did
Might.
All Might
All Might.
out of foam clay, and it looks
Yeah.
probably like you want. It's easy.
Yeah.
just-
No, I
mean,
got
did-
what she wants. She
The
wants
thing
like
is,
sculpted.
You have to give like
Yeah.
elastic to the back because it shrinks.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
That's
I'll
the
have to
only
think about that. I think since I don't like to wait for things to dry, I'll probably do the bulk of it out of foam, and then I'll just
do, like,
add
bevels
extra
and then
shapes, like
add-
fill it in between with like
Yeah.
foam clay, probably.
Yeah. The thing with
Anyway.
foam clay is that it shrunk and I didn't realize it. And then I went to put it on my friend's head and he was like,
And it didn't
"What?"
fit?
And he's like, I
Put
can't.
that in the chat.
Oh
Like in
no.
that. Yeah.
He looked great though. It looked really good.
Yeah.
I tried to cell shade it, but I didn't know how to do that. So I was basically just throwing Sharpie on top of like colors. It was great.
It worked.
Cell shading is fun. I really enjoy cell shading, obviously.
I'm like still waiting to do my first cell shaded costume. I want to do that on
Listen,
Jack.
Even
I'm
just
gonna do it
doing
on the
one
jack.
small thing, like a prop or something, is like I've learned so much through just doing one small thing cell shaded because it like teaches you the
Oh, there we go.
fundamentals of how to paint.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
We have
got
a
an actual
armor question in the chat.
We have an actual question.
Oh
The best size-
wow.
What's the
What's
best
foam?
size foam to use for armor bases? Like depend on what you
Yeah, it
mean
depends
by
on what
bases.
piece.
Yeah, like I would say like when I'm making armor, like that is like on your body, I always go with 5 mm or 6 mm depending on how far I'm traveling, because like 5 mm foam is like also you have to consider with like armor, especially that like how you're gonna disassemble it and how you're gonna travel with it, because like it depends on person to person of course, but like I have to travel with all my costumes a lot, so I try to make it like as thin as possible, so that I can even scrunch the pieces. Like even if they get squished, it's fine. I can just heat it up whenever I reach the place where I want to go. So I prefer 5 mm as like a go-to for all my armors. Props, I will always make props with like 6 mm or 8 mm, because I want them to be more sturdier. Like if I'm making a hollow gun, like I don't want to stack all the pieces if it's like something if it's like a big piece. So then I will use like 6 mm or 8 mm. So it depends on what I'm trying to do. But yeah, 5 mm and 3 mm are like my favorite sizes
Dude,
to work
3
with.
is my favorite of all time.
Oh yeah, and
I've
it's
never
so
used
stupid because
3.
you don't get it. You
3
don't
is
get it
the
too often.
fucking bomb.
Yeah.
I'm like a 10 mil guy. I'm an 8 to 10 mil.
For what?
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait,
It depends on the body where you're doing it too. Like
You're
chest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does depend, but there's
Depends on-
something
you
about
can't-
3.
Oh,
There's just something about it.
I've used 2.
Really?
It also lends to the fact that again, like I said, I plan everything like on the computer, so I already know like how I want all the shapes to be, and like so like 5 mm or 6 mm is more forgiving because you can like get the shapes by sanding out, like making grooves to round it out. But like because I already have planned all the shapes beforehand, so I can use like a really thin foam sheet, so that like because I'm gonna get the shape anyways. I don't have to
Yeah.
sand too much for that. So
For
yeah,
your
that
base
also.
corsets, you're using 3
No. I just really like 3. Like 3 is really good for details.
details.
Details,
Okay.
yeah.
And you
That's
don't
for your
realize
base
how good
armor.
3 is versus 2. I
Because
can't explain it.
two
I'm
is
gonna
too
have
thin.
to.
Where do you get
And
3?
4
two
is
is
too
too thin.
thick.
I've
Um,
never
4 is
seen
too thick.
3.
3 is the
3 is
perfect
Alright.
number.
perfect.
Lumens
Yeah.
makes
2
3.
millimeter.
You should get
Lumen's
it
Workshop?
because it's freaking awesome. You'll hold it and you'll be like, this is
Yeah.
what details need
And
to be done in.
Exactly. Like all the details is like just
It's
3 mm
nice.
for me.
Yeah. But probably 6. I mean, it wasn't asked to me, but like 5, 6 for like most armor.
How
and
dare
then
you answer a question that was asked to me?
sometimes
Huh?
8, 10. Yeah. It was asked to you,
The
but
one thing that I've-
sometimes 8, 10.
I
if it's
regret
something
to
heavy.
for details is the foam craft, like the little sheets, the
Yeah.
low density stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just really like if I've got to do like 2 like really tight details or something like that. I just like I pull out the old craft sheets. low
Yeah.
density.
Oh yeah. Like I basically,
Yeah,
but then
she's
also
whatever.
again, I have of course like we don't get professionally made foam sheets here. Like we don't get HD foam or like TNT, CF, whatever the number is. All of those sheets over here. So I mostly have to use like really cheap foam sheets. Like the quality is getting better now, but like or like we are finding more sources. Like I source my foam sheet literally from the factories. I go to a factory, they have a block, and I tell them what size I want them to cut it. So I
Isn't that
have to buy 10
amazing?
sheets. I have to buy 10 sheets at a time though. So
That's
So
still
the thing is-
amazing, and it's probably cheap as shit.
it is cheap as shit, of course. But like, so then I choose my characters according to that. I'm not gonna make Iron Man because like it would be very difficult for me to make like a really clean surface. So I go for costumes, like I said, like more organic, where even if it's porous, I make it a feature of the costume. Like I make it so that like I'm weathering a lot and everything. So all those pores are not as visible because my foam is not of that high quality. So the quality of foam, honestly, I don't think matters. Like a lot of people are like, like I need to use a really good foam to make a good costume. I don't think that's the case. All my foam, if I have to tell you, all my foams are made with foam sheets that cost me $2 a sheet, and the sheet is like 4 feet by 8 feet,
hate
by the
you.
way.
Wow.
4
What?
feet by
2
8.
bucks.
This is
We're all
what,
looking
$30,
feet by
$40
$2
now?
8 feet?
Yeah.
$2.
4 feet
Eight-
by 8 feet.
8 feet by 4 feet for a sheet, and it's $2.
So
Did
how
you
much
use
would
that?
you ship it to us? Because I mean,
Sorry?
you
Are you buying that local? Is that like a local thing?
can,
Or
yeah.
I said I literally go to the factory because we don't have
are you open to like
have
drop
anyone.
some of that?
Yeah,
Sorry?
right.
You start like how much for 100? You
Right?
can make something
I can
happen.
send
Come
like
on.
I will honestly tell you the shipping would
You
cost
send
you
me a
more than the foam.
Yeah.
Can I sign up for a
probably.
sample?
Did you end
Like
up
the
using
shipping-
that Lumen's Workshop foam, by the way?
To what?
I
Samir?
have used one sheet. I have, but like I don't have access to a lot. I have used HD foam. I have used lumens. And the last time I went to New York, there's a guy in New York. What's his name? Foam Dad? I don't know. There's someone in New York who
Stay
also
at
sells
home.
foam.
Mass dad,
Oh.
stay at home dad.
I
Stay
think
at
I
home.
think Yeah, those people, they gave me like a role. They were like, I'm so sorry. They gave me a role and I forgot the name. But like they were like, I would like you to try this foam sheet. And I was like, okay. They gave me some. So I wanna still try them. The thing is, I'm such a miser. Like I have kept all of those for like my personal project, and I have not been able
Yep.
to do any personal projects since like last year.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
understand.
a
I don't
Hobby
like
Lobby guy. I love Hobby Lobby foam. I don't know why.
I don't mind
It's
it. Like
fun.
people were telling me that it's not that good.
I
I'm
don't know
like,
who
maybe
makes
it's
it
because
though.
I just use
Mustad,
foam a
yes,
lot.
yes,
but
Like
Mustad.
it's not that
Mustad was
bad.
the one.
branded. Is
Thank
it
you, thank you,
branded?
Michael.
I like SKS. I don't
I'm
like.
I'm an
Yeah, it's good
SKS
stuff.
lover.
I,
That's
I love
my
it too, but like
go-to.
I need like bulk. So like I go through a shit ton of foam with my commission stuff. So like I went to Hobby Lobby and I'll do like rain checks because they can get me like the quantity. That's why I use them, because I can go there and be like, hey, like I just ordered like in the garage currently. I have 100 rolls of 10 millimeter, 100 rolls of 8 millimeter. Like I have so much foam because they can just get it to me. That's why I do it, because I can get it in a week.
Damn,
I go there on a rain check on the Monday,
Well,
order it, it's there the next day, and I
that's
get it in my
amazing.
let
car. So,
let
like
me know when you need 100 rolls next time, okay?
I know. Well, I went there and the
Pretty
lady
much
was
right.
the lady was checking me out and she's like, I think something's wrong. I'm like, what's wrong? Because like I already know how much it's gonna cost. I tallied up. She's like, I need to get a manager. I'm like, all right. So she's like, when I got a manager, she's like, is this right? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, how much is it? She's like, 1,100. So I was like, yeah, that's right. She's like, are you sure? I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah, I
Yeah,
got a
that's how much
lot.
foam I want.
And
yeah,
meanwhile, there's a
that's how much
guy
it
with like a pallet is looking at me like, are you ready to load this up? Can we go? Like he was like so bored. He did not want to have to like, it's the most shipment he's ever seen in his life at Hobby Lobby. So he has
Jesus.
like, they give me it like the boxes from the factory, and I don't even know who makes it. I've been trying to figure it out because Hobby Lobby, it's not like branded by them. I mean, if you're familiar,
No,
you know,
Yeah,
it's
it just
soft
says
though.
cosplay
It's
foam, but
good.
it's good
yeah.
foam. It reminds me of
It's
Yaya's foam, and
it's
it's
really not that bad, like
no, I just
honestly,
like it
and it's
because
really really cheap,
well
and that's why
they
I've been suggesting
they
it to
just
people because
lowered
it's
the
like
price on it. It
it's
used to
like
be 24.99, but now it's 12.99. I was like,
Their
oh my god.
bevels are
yeah.
cheap
So
too. They're like
I
$2 for 4-pack.
in Hobby
Bevels,
Lobby's
SKS's bevels are a little expensive.
yeah, it's just
Yeah,
I like them because it's like I can get bulk from them. SKS is hard.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
be like, hey, I need 100 of this, 100
yeah,
of that. They're like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
yeah.
So like
I
it's just
found
easier
that
for me.
I really like SKS foams, but I really like Hobby Lobby's foam too. Like, but for different reasons. Like the SKS foam's more pliable,
Yeah,
and the Hobby Lobby foam is a little bit more high density.
yeah.
But like, there's
yeah.
different strokes for different
Different.
folks.
Well, it's different uses too. Like you might
Yeah,
use.
exactly.
There's times where I
Exactly.
won't use the
Yeah.
SKS. I'm like, I pull out the craft sheets, or there's like
Yeah,
different whatever.
yeah,
There's some foams that I'm like, okay, this is like I'm not using this.
Yeah, I've run into that
yeah.
problem. Like I really did like Yaya's phone for a while, but it was really expensive because they had it
It
at
is
Joann's
expensive.
and then they
It
stopped
was very
selling it. It
expensive.
like I
Ooh,
don't know
the
what
one
what happened to it. It
It
just
was
disappeared
really
one
stiff.
day.
It
The
was
Yeah,
stuff that
I didn't like it.
the stuff that I really don't like from Joann's as far as foam goes is their dowels. They are
Yeah,
absolute trash.
they're not
They're literally trash. They're not
like
even real
rigid.
foam. They're like
Yeah, it's
something
something
else.
weird. You try to when you cut them, you can tell it's not like
It's
yeah, it's like
like it like shreds real bad. It's
yeah,
not
yeah,
even
yeah.
real foam.
Yeah, I
But
don't use
anyway.
those well.
the
Yeah.
one thing if you've never tried is Red Moon Cosplay. Their regular foam is whatever. It's like everybody else's, but they have leather.
Oh,
Like
I've
the
Red.
leather.
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
that's what
It,
this is.
it's like a
The belt is the
it's like
leather.
it's like a
It's
neoprene
really cool.
leather. You can actually stamp it just like real leather. Because I've stamped it and it stretches. I use it for all my attachments instead of buying real leather.
What
And
is it?
it's called
It's leather EVA foam basically.
foam, basically. And you can
Okay.
actually like stamp it
Wait,
like
hold up.
I
I'm gonna
think
go out into the garage real quick. I have some. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, I want to know what the fuck you're talking about.
so it literally it has like you can stamp it like leather. So I
Mhm.
use it for like my attachments and I don't have
Is it almost rubbery in nature?
it's rubbery in nature. It has like a neoprene
Can you
backing.
like send a
Yeah.
link in our Instagram chat
Yeah,
later on?
because I'm
Like, when you get
interested.
time?
So it works the best if you ever want to vacuum form. I don't know why if you might want to. If you want to vacuum form EVA foam,
Oh,
it's
that's
the
cool.
best because
Oh yeah.
it has like a stretch to it, so it literally like sucks on. So when I did like
Okay.
the faces from the Plague Bringer, I did
Yeah.
everything out of this leather because it like literally like gave like every feature. It was the only one that had like a stretch to it. And
Okay.
whenever I do like attachments now, instead of buying leather and sewing it, I just do the EVA
Yeah,
foam.
This is the Hobby
Yeah.
Lobby foam.
Yeah,
But
Is
I
it
don't
a 10
know.
mil?
I don't know
have
who makes. I think just Hobby Lobby makes it. I don't know. It doesn't. It's not like branded, but it's just high density VA foam.
Yeah, it's a 10 mil, right?
Yeah, yeah. And it's only $14.99. They like lowered
Dude,
it by.
I know you really
I
can't
was
beat
like,
that, unfortunately.
and it's a lot. It's 24 by 30.
So this
Right?
is
How does
it looks
Yeah.
kind of looks almost
24 by 60. I mean,
but it's
Okay.
EVA foam.
$14.99.
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The leather foam.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is
Oh, that's
Let's
cool.
cool.
do it. Do
So-
a little bit of a stretch test. Show us what it does.
Okay. So
Is
how
that
do I-
from? That's from Red Moon. Is that what
It's
you're
from
saying?
Red Moon. So this is the 4mm.
This is
So
the
it kind of resembles.
that ripped. But it does, it stretches. It has
It's
a,
Oh,
really stretchy.
Kind of cool.
yeah.
So
Oh,
what's
that's
is it?
cool.
Is
But
it
it's
foam or is it
different.
leather?
Oh,
It's
that ripped,
different
but-
than SKS props foam.
Oh yeah. This is
This
it has like a leathery texture to it. And
it really feels like leather.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But it doesn't
So
have the
that's
rough
what
side.
No.
it's kind of rough.
One side is rough, one side is like a neoprene.
Huh.
And how does it look when it's
The
painted?
4mm on both sides is kind of rough. It has like that leathery texture, but the 2mm, it's very soft on both sides.
Yep.
Okay.
And so this is what I used to make a pouch out of. I made this pouch.
I
And
use
we-
So
think
it
it would be-
acts like
Do you think it would be good to skin props, like like using a 2mm to like stretch and skin a prop?
yeah. I do
Yeah.
it does.
And you're
I've done
painting
that
it? Like,
with
what's the
my-
finish? for the
Yeah, so
painting?
this was
Vita
painted with leather paint.
Okay,
and
so you're
it's
not.
a-
It's being painted differently than like EVA foam. You can't like. What,
You can
what's the
probably still
finish?
paint it like that, but we just painted it like this for texture. But
Okay.
we
what's,
made a little
what's the
pouch.
big
Finishes.
positives of using this stuff?
So,
What's
like,
the
when I do
positive
a
of versus
cowl,
regular foam?
I do a
If
lot
you're
of
if
cowls.
you're vegan or vegetarian and you don't want to use leather, aka
Right,
me,
right. Well, yeah.
No,
Oh.
so like for I do like the foam cowls and then I'll have like the mask attached to it. But regular EVA foam has no stretch to it, and this does. So like if I do a cowl and I like have like thicker hair because I put some extensions in, it'll stretch and give, and you can put like the cowl over it. So it
it
has
does stretch really nicely.
yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It stretches
But yeah,
better
it's-
than like
it's really-
SKS foam.
Yeah.
I gotta get my
Yes.
hands on that.
I'll send a link there. So we do have a
Okay.
budget.
So we are finally doing a foam panel. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good.
Yeah.
one.
Finally doing some
Oh, speaking of
Right.
tools, because we
Go
never
ahead,
got into
go
it,
for it.
this is one of my favorite cutters that I have. Oh,
That's nice.
I love this.
I got a battle scar today from those damn things. Like I almost can't even see it. I
I
thought I was
if
gonna
you're-
get
if
cut.
you're-
And it didn't.
If you're talking about tools, like I think the one thing that I have noticed that a lot of people don't utilize to the maximum is the bits, the rotary tool bits. Like people just
Oh.
use the
Oh yeah.
people just
Standing
use the
drums.
drum. Yeah, people just use standing drum and that's it. But there's like a world of bits for like rotary tools. And I think all the carving that I do, I like on a single piece, I use at least like 4 to 5 different bits when I'm like making something, because there's one that has like a sharp, like it's like a this kind of shape, like that makes like sharp lines. Then there's like one which is like a space saucer. Like there's so many different kinds of bits
That's
that give
cool.
you like different kind of effects.
hmm
So I think people don't really utilize those
When
a lot to
That's
make
true.
details.
I
I
never
think-
use a drum because a drum just carves up your foam. Unless you're like
I use drum. I use drum because like I think like after you have gotten used to it, like I actually use drum on really high speed because I've gotten the control now. But like also like I actually prefer using like a jeweler's Dremel,
Those are
like
really
jeweler's
nice.
yeah
Nice.
jeweler's
I've heard really good
rotary
things
tool
about
instead of
those.
like Dremel, because like Dremel is like bulky on the hand. Like you can have the shaft and of course everything, but like
yeah, unless
I
you
have
use the
I have one.
stylo or something.
do you
I have the one.
seen
I
the-
have the one that is like of Fordham. I don't know if like that's popular there. Fordham is popular everywhere, right? Fordham? No, okay. So Fordham is
not.
like a famous jeweler's saw brand. Like it's a Swiss brand. It's
Okay.
like probably
Yeah.
all the jewelers use that. So, but like I have a rotary tool which can spin in both the directions. So like it can spin like this and it can also spin the other way, which is
Oh my
like such a,
That's kind of cool.
which is such a lifesaver,
That's
because
cool.
like I know if you guys
I
have
don't
tried
think
to
any
make a
marks do
point,
that.
like I know like when you're trying to make a point, like it kind of frays if you're like going the opposite way, right?
Yeah,
So
like
like I can switch the direction and then I go the other way, and it's like super nice. The only
yeah,
thing
I've
is like
heard.
yeah, you just have to get used to the other side, because like it's kind of like not you're not used to it, but
Yeah.
like it's a lifesaver.
Do you
So
guys
yeah,
use
I would recommend getting that.
like belt sanders or anything? Like anything more
Oh
industrial? You
yeah.
guys ever use that? I mean, I use that a lot. I use big
Oh
Oh
square
yeah.
yeah. I use
sanders,
my
and
belt sander a
I'm
lot.
coming in like all like I got the form going. Like it's and I get that. The same thing with that. So like learning which way sands better versus
Yeah,
that way, and it does
Yep.
make a difference because it's like
Does yeah.
it does. It
just
does.
coming at it from a different
There's
angle versus coming with it or around. It's a huge
Yeah.
difference. I don't know if
Mhm.
any handheld ones do that. I don't know of any that do best.
Well,
I think
I
it goes
actually
one
have like an
way.
arrow on my thing.
Does yours go? I never found one that
It like
did.
reminds me which way it's going
Oh,
when I
okay.
push it.
Yeah, I don't know if we have any that switch.
Have you
Well,
ever seen
the one that
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry. Have you ever seen the SKS tutorial? Has anyone done the thing where you grind down the drum bit on the
I haven't, but I want one so bad. I just want to be like,
Yeah.
make me 5 of them and send them to me.
Yeah.
I never throw old drums, because like like it's so stupid, but like every time there's a build up on that drum, it gives it texture, so I use those old drums for like
Yeah,
texturing different
yeah,
kind of things. Like
yeah.
there's a drum that I've used to like
How
yeah there's a
you've seen it, I'm sure, where he like
yeah
grinds down the bit to on and I'm like, that sounds so awesome. And I'm like, it sounds like so much work. And where do I find a slab of granite?
no, it's not, but that's the thing, like
Go
there's
to a
so many.
granite store and be like, "Can I do this real quick?"
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
want him to make me a bunch of those bits and then send them to me, and I will pay for them.
He might hit him up.
Because I mean, he might. I do know him, so maybe he would. I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
Tell
I'm
him.
actually willing to ask him and be like, hey,
You know
I
that
Capitalize
tutorial you
on
have? Can
writing
you do
standards.
that and then send it to me?
Hey, I don't care about the video. Just make me them, and I'll buy them.
Please just make it and then sell them, because I'll
Just
just buy
buy 'em.
it.
like that.
SKS bits. Just sell them like that.
You
I
probably
mean, I would buy it.
Stamp
You
them.
should.
Sell them
what
for like
you-
$10. I'll buy it. I don't
I mean, I'm
care.
paying like $25 for a thing.
It's a
of, like,
monopoly. He can take
gas
it right
filler.
now.
So I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
what do you want? We
All
should
right,
probably
Steve,
get some
you've been called out within the
Yes,
universe,
Michael's.
Steve.
I got
So
like
there's a,
maybe 15 minutes, so I can
Alright.
answer.
there's
What?
a question like, what would be the dream cosplay for everyone?
Wow.
I think it's a good one to end on too.
Yeah, I don't
We
know.
could go this way, and everybody can take their time talking. So go.
You start. You
Me?
start. Yeah.
All right. So my dream cosplay is Rags from World of Warcraft.
Oh, I love
Um,
that.
Get a
and-
picture.
yeah, I'll get a picture.
You never told me.
Yeah,
that.
get a picture and show us. That way the chat can see.
So I actually, but the problem with him is that he's not human.
Yeah.
For me, honestly, as I'm just stalling right now, just so you know. For me, honestly, though, I don't want to do female armor anymore. Pretty much, like I
No?
just no, I don't. I like it's not like a body image thing or an age thing. I really enjoy being completely embodied in the character and not being worried about whether or not I look good. So for me, like this is like I love this particular expansion. And I actually commissioned someone to make me a version of that. I have
Ooh.
no idea how that.
Ooh.
No idea. No idea.
So
I got an idea. So,
Just go up in flames. and then there you
Gasoline,
go.
right? If you
Yeah.
take that and a lighter,
You'll be able to cosplay once, but it would be amazing.
it'd be awesome.
I
What
commissioned
happened
him
to Avera? Oh,
to figure it out.
he was
So
badass. But
hopefully he will figure it out someday.
that's cool.
I
Though.
hope
That's
so.
possible. You could do that.
Awesome.
But I would love to do this.
Which is
You could easily
so
do that.
like, it is funny because like you said, you don't want to make like a female costume, and like my dream costume is actually Medusa. I want to make like a full functioning Medusa, like where the hair like kind of moves like snakes, and like the tail should be functioning where it should be
That'd be
thinking.
cool. Yeah.
So that's
That's amazing.
yeah. So that's like, and I've always been like really fascinated with Medusa's story and everything. So yeah, I think that's my dream costume. I really want to make a really badass prosthetic. So I think it has everything. Like it has props. Like I can make a bow.
So, like
I can
an
have like
tail and everything. Like that.
yeah, like a functioning tail, like functioning hair, and then like I'll have to make like, of course I would have to make like a body, prosthetic body or whatever, and then like this scale makeup and everything. So I want to make it like really grungy. So yeah, I want to make a Medusa someday.
Yeah.
That's cool.
All right.
What about you guys?
I don't have an answer. That's a hard question, man. My
You probably
my
have made all your
dreams are
dream
like
costumes.
I'm on like this scale now of life where like less is more to me. Like there's things that I've wanted to make where I'm like, oh, I really want to do that. And people are like, really? It's like, yeah, but like even like this stupid thing, this banana. And Nicole knows about this
Yeah.
conversation. I told her for months. I was like, I
Could've
want to
do
make
Keely.
this. How do I want to make the banana? And
I'm a
this-
banana with skin
it's like-
skin.
it's like less is more.
Go be a banana.
To me, it was like I find my dreams and stuff like that because I'm just like it's just fun to me. Like I was like, that's something I really want to do. And I remember when I was talking to Nicole building it, I was like showing her, and I'm like, oh my god, I did it. And she's like, oh my god, you did it. And I was like, it's a banana. And it was just like, it was just something so small to most people. To me, it was like a dream. It sounds crazy because it's not unachievable.
No, but that's
it's like
awesome.
it's a dream where it's like, oh, I just want to do that because I've made so much crazy shit, but like that was like so funny
Yeah.
to me, and it made me
It's
like
just something you
I
wanted
don't know.
to
It
do.
was just so silly and stupid, but it was a dream. It was literally a dream. I've
And
talked
he'll be
about
wearing it at
too.
Dragon Con.
Yeah, and
You should.
he's not gonna be like that. There's gonna be some stuff on him, but yeah. Not
You're like,
very
I'll do more. I promise.
Better add to it.
Well, I thought about doing like I want to do like a Victoria's Secret angel, so he has like wings and like launcher. It was gonna be like that's like one of the things that he might do, but like I wanted to do some
Love
stuff
you.
with him. Yeah, it was something funny,
Okay.
but that's my dream. It was like a dream kind of. I don't know. It's a
Yeah.
good example. He's here. In
We
the
should
group.
do like a banana cosplay group. Like, like everyone is like a different stage of banana, like a field
Yeah.
banana, like
I want to be
Oh,
one of
yes.
the close to
banana.
rotten
Yeah.
ones.
So yeah,
I'll
so
be
this
the one that you're
I'll be the
going with
baby
banana
banana.
is, yeah.
I want
this
the
is-
brown spots.
bread.
This
Yeah,
is
what
before-
day
I mean, yeah.
banana
Really
bread?
from Fortnite.
The
And
spoiled one.
Banana bread.
it's such a simple costume too, which is funny. It's just like it's so
But it
stupid.
doesn't matter that it's simple if it's
No.
you know
Yeah,
it's a dream.
yeah,
you know?
it's just so like I don't know. Going from making like crazy armored builds, like I just want to make a banana. People are like,
Yeah,
what?
I mean, it
What?
doesn't matter because like you just don't have time or you can't like it's not relevant enough for you to
Yeah,
want
I
to do it
know,
or
it's
whatever.
So, like,
Sometimes it just takes that extra moment for you to be
Yeah.
like, I'm fucking doing it right now.
Doing
I
it.
yes.
Yeah. What about you?
So I really want to do Senderis's version of Alex Straza,
That's
the one
nice.
with the
That one's
massive,
crazy.
Like the
massive
mother
wings.
of Sanctuary.
Yeah.
The one
Yes.
that Villanilla made, that one?
Yes,
Yep.
that one. As soon as I
Yep.
saw that one come out of TwitchCon, I was like, I
like
have
that.
to make that.
Yeah.
And
That's an
that,
amazing design.
yeah, ever since I've seen that one, I'm like, I need to do that. But alas, we're cosplayers. We put it on the back burner and just make something completely different.
4 years
Yeah.
later.
Up.
I plan my year like I'm gonna cosplay this and that and that and that, and then something comes up or like I get
Oh, I
hired for
know.
something and I never make anything. Like
That's
I literally have
everyone.
I do.
All
All
Oh,
of us.
there's a competition coming up. Let me just make something new. And
yeah.
I just cry while I do it.
I
But
don't know why I can't find this.
um,
Straza.
Mother
It's
of
like-
Sanctuary.
Yeah, when you look up Cinderis Alistraza, it comes right up.
How do you, am I spelling Senderis?
Sinderys.
Cinderys.
She also did one of my favorite versions of Lilith, I think, right? Was that Cinderis?
Yeah.
Yes,
did-
it
she
was
probably, like,
beautiful.
It's this one.
that
This
was
is
my,
the
like,
only
most
picture I can
favorite version.
find.
Mhm.
Okay, there you go.
It's
Yes,
that
and
one.
it has like the big.
Yeah.
Massive wings.
big
Hold up,
wings,
I
yeah.
can probably.
She's like
It's
mid.
that one. Oh, there it is, okay.
mid-form. She's like mid
Yeah, there it
transforming,
is.
so she's
Okay.
like,
There
Yeah,
it is.
so that
Half-size.
is my dream.
That's cool.
That's an awesome costume.
You
It's
can
really
totally pull it
amazing.
off.
Honestly, it was
That's
amazing
possible.
seeing it in person too when somebody made it. It's fucking amazing.
That's cool.
And the
Oh
person
yeah,
who
you went up.
made it-
They came
did.
to. Yeah.
Yep. I went up
Yep. I
against
watched that.
I
I was
had to
like,
beat
go,
that.
go.
That's
I was like,
the
I
same
was like, I
girl
got
who
beat that.
That's the same one who did her Alune, right?
Yes, I did her alone. I did.
No,
Wait.
the person
Yeah.
that she did Alune.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
who Alune was made
yes.
for or whatever. Yeah.
Yes,
I know you did Alune.
I did.
All the good ones. I thought you were gonna do Warhammer Mercy. What happened with that?
I'm
Yeah,
doing a
what
different
happened with that?
Warhammer. I'm doing another Warhammer right now currently. That's it. That's my life. I find something and then I do something completely different.
I
It's
have
so
like
fun.
so Mortarian from
yeah,
like
there's my
Warhammer has
new-
been in my list.
My new Warhammer.
That's cool.
Oh, that's
It's
nice.
on the way. It's on its way.
It's coming. It'll be done next month.
Oh my
I
gosh.
love people. I don't know how you guys feel, but I like literally love people who like do the same costumes as me, right? So like we both did.
Oh yes.
We both
That is the
did.
smallest icon ever.
I know, so bad, but we
Oh,
both did.
hold on.
Camoes.
I got it.
We both did camoes.
Yeah. I
Demonic.
had considered doing it for a minute, and then I was like, I had other things I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I had
Okay.
considered it though.
There's always so much to do.
Yep.
There you
Oh, it's
go.
not.
Yep. I know
Oh,
exactly
no.
which one it is.
Yep.
I love when other people do stuff because I'm like, oh wow, they made that choice. That is so much better than what I did.
I still do plan on doing Warhammer Mercy. I love it so much,
You should.
but
You're gonna look so good in it.
I'll
Yeah.
get there eventually.
My comment is always like, oh, it looks so much better if the person was skinnier.
Oh.
Love that for me.
Yeah.
I was pregnant.
No, no.
No, but you'll
Listen.
slay that. That like that. I like, for Glazy Kai, I think that is like she did so great on that. Like,
It
the
was an
art
amazing concept.
Like she's so used to cutesy stuff and like
Yeah. I wish she would do more armor stuff.
I know.
Yeah. Did you
What's
have
your
to commission
dream
her for
costume?
that?
Huh?
I'm saying like, so Brittany hasn't told what's her dream cosplay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's
I've
hear it.
done a lot of my dream cosplays, but the only one I really have left is I want to be a
Okay.
female Klingon, like straight up.
Oh, nice. That would
I
be
don't know if
awesome.
you guys know what a female Klingon
Dragon
looks
Con.
look like, but if you, it
They
is
look like-
definitely a Dragon Con costume.
They look like a male Klingon? Is there a
No,
big
no, I want to
difference?
be there is very few female
That's what I mean,
Klingons
so.
within Star Trek. I want to be a female Klingon.
Is there
Straight
a
up,
big
because
difference? Or
there is.
in
They've
the
got
male?
more boobs.
Oh,
and they
okay.
look female.
How many
Okay,
boobs
so
do they
it's
have? Like do they have
They
like
have two boobs. They have two
Oh,
boobs.
okay, okay.
they have the
alright.
same
If you-
face, the Klingon.
They have the
Klingon
forehead,
face.
but they're a little bit more good looking. I would want to be a little bit prettier. Nah,
Is
maybe
that
not
it?
exactly like her. Keep going. Look for the armor.
Alright.
Look for the armor more.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh wait, this
More
is
of like the
horrible.
Female
war
Klingon,
battle
Duras
Klingon.
sisters, Klingon.
The battle Klingon.
That is horrifying.
Klingon.
Kind of cool. See, it's a cool dream.
That's
Simple.
awesome.
It's more like this. There's two girls that are together. That one.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Bring that one
makes
up.
sense. Yeah.
I
there
want
you
more
No,
of that.
Here's what I have, but I
go.
No.
Oh,
Ah!
stunning.
Oh no, it's cursed.
I absolutely want to see your Zoltar. Like, you still haven't cosplayed that, right?
Oh, I see.
I'm
these.
actually.
Okay.
My plan is for Dragon Con. I think I want to do
Nice.
it for the costume contest.
Oh, I'm excited to see that.
The Bunny
Yes.
Hutch or the FNCC?
Bunny Hutch.
Yeah.
Yep.
I gotta start on that actually, Nicole. Oh god, did Ryan start his yet?
We need time.
I'll start when Ryan starts.
You're like, he ain't gonna start until 2
Well,
weeks
we're.
before.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna try the best.
He has to build Sauron Hef, and I don't know how.
And I have.
How
I'm
he's gonna do
doing.
that?
But instead of like
Which
having the
thing?
one ring on his hand, he's gonna have a big pimp chain. With the
Oh
one
my
ring.
god.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
great idea.
Ooh.
And then he's gonna have like
Yeah,
a
I don't
smoking
know.
pipe out of his Sauron helmet. If it
Okay,
happens.
one of these days you're gonna come up with an idea that I'm super in on, and then
Okay.
I'm gonna cosplay with you for one of these groups.
I know it's not
We have
trash
some good
animal.
ones lined up. The trash animals
Yeah,
would be
but-
funny.
If it reflects my soul, I will do it though. So
I think
just
I think it would have been the SpongeBob group if we had done one.
potentially, yeah. Actually, I
We
made
should
a
So-
costume.
do it. Why are we not doing it?
So wait. So if
Go
I go to
ahead.
Dragon Con next year, we need to do the SpongeBob group, and I just want to be Doodle Bob.
You
I
could
want
be
to
Doodle
be
Bob.
the fish head Anchorman.
Did I tell you,
Hold on.
Nicole? I told you
Breaking
my plan.
news.
So the plan
Hold on,
was that everybody has to build a separate part of the Krusty Krab, and then we all assemble it
Oh my
at
god.
Dragon
that's
Con.
so cool.
Assemble!
So everybody builds a piece,
I-
and then we all
Okay, so-
assemble it
and
there.
we can
and
get Ted
make the
involved
Krusty
because if we're
Krab.
gonna do whatever fucking movie he made us talk about for an hour, he's gonna. do
Everybody
fucking
has to make a
SpongeBob.
piece and bring it.
Listen, I have this one thing. I have this costume finished. All right.
Swear
No.
voted Norman
Oh
Jensen.
really? What'd you make that?
He was
That's
number
funny.
one. I
It was
also
his
made
hat,
the
Mr.
tombstone.
Krabs.
That's
I
funny.
made the tombstone to go with it.
That's kind of funny.
So
That's cool.
we should do.
That's
we can still
amazing.
do this.
Okay, so next year SpongeBob.
yeah,
Okay, so
I
this
mean,
means
this
I
is
have to go
done.
to Dragon
This is
next year. Or
finished.
hear me out.
Hall Matt.
Hall
Samir,
Matt.
can you come back for Hall
You're-
Matt?
you're- I can't hear
Can you come to Hall Matt this year?
me.
Yeah.
It's in December.
SpongeBob
Uh,
group.
Let's see. Let's see.
Okay, so SpongeBob Hallmark Group.
I would like to do the whale. I would like to
Oh.
do Mr. Crab's daughter.
Oh,
Oh,
Pearl.
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 Team
Yeah,
Pearl.
that's her name is Pearl, right? Yeah, Pearl. I want to do Pearl costume.
Pearl.
Oh, this guy's got a good idea. If we do Ents from Lord of the Rings, though, I
Oh,
definitely want to
that's-
be the one on fire who douses his hair in the river.
Oh yeah. We could do that. Have little hobbits sitting on our shoulders.
We
That
should
would be
probably-
fun.
we should, okay, we're going on 3 hours, so we should probably.
I set my schedule at 10.
We're
so
going
we
on
can-
3
Is
hours.
that a problem?
No.
Also, someone should be the cutout of Nosferatu.
Oh my! Just flicking the lights. This is what the fake light switch.
We should.
Like-
We should do it.
I love SpongeBob. Like I said,
Same.
I
breaking
watch
news,
SpongeBob daily.
I will literally get the head to like move back and forth and have like the suit.
Breaking news.
Okay,
do
so
it.
going back to dream cosplay, SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
It's see less is more.
When you
Dream-
actually made your dream cosplay, then you're like, I think that's a good point. Is like when you've made your dream cosplay,
do you do
the next
now?
thing is like
It means
I
you
wanna
live
be
in the
a
dream.
pigeon.
That's the
I wanna be a
actual answer.
I actually want to be a pigeon.
You want to be
See?
a pigeon?
Oh, I'm gonna be a pigeon.
She's
Home-
been hoping. Yeah, she's
Hmm.
been riding this pigeon thing for a while. I think this is
The
it.
Yeah.
pigeon
This is
has
your
gotten
peak.
really big. It started off as an inside joke between me and Pat Covey.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a
because
thing.
I told him
DragonCon's gonna
wanted to
sell it
have
out.
I wanted to have pigeons fly out from underneath my skirt. And he's so anal. He's like, "Oh, you can't have pigeons flying out from under your skirt on stage."
Why?
What do you mean by that?
Watch me.
So what do you mean? He's like, "I don't trust you there." I'm like, "Oh no, they're gonna be drones
Yeah,
with laser
They're
beams attached
trained.
to their."
Attach their
pigeons.
heads, and he's like, I don't get it.
He's like, "No, you cannot have drones or live pigeons or anything."
Oh my god. Oh my
Panicking.
god. What's
He's
wrong
adding
with
it to the
you?
rules right now. He's typing in the rules. No drones, no
Like,
pigeons.
No drones, no no live animals.
I wasn't even at C2E2 this year, but like there was a chick who cosplayed a pigeon,
Brought a
and
pigeon.
like Mary had like pigeons.
She
going
left the pigeon.
everywhere.
She put
She
the pigeon
did.
on the thing.
Pigeon
Remember?
up
She
there,
hit.
like,
And then she had pigeon stickers she was giving out.
people were
no.
giving away like it became like a
Dragon Con's gonna set it
Okay.
off. It's gonna be that's
became a thing.
the moment.
Make
it's gonna
bad
be set
ribbons.
off.
Make
everyone's
bad
like I love
ribbons.
how
Pigeons.
somebody in the chat because it's like if you used to be in the chat, you're not anymore. It's the crown chat. Someone's like I love how all this came about because Nicole was giving Pat Covey shit. And I was like I'm so loving this.
Pigeons.
Which, by the way, I'm glad Pat finally had you guest because that's amazing, and he needs you to judge MegaCon.
Who, me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I wish I could, but he doesn't pay. Oh, we're not gonna get into that.
We'll get into that on a different discussion.
Yeah, on a different. when
Actually,
we're
you know what?
not
They should have us
streaming.
back and talk about guesting. Honestly,
Oh.
that would be
Guesting
a really
is a
behind
whole-
the
okay,
cowl.
If we talk about
Whole
guessing, we're gonna
thing.
get into it. We're gonna talk about the behind the scenes, and that's
Yeah.
probably better kept behind the scenes.
Yeah. I think people need
I mean,
to
like
learn
you
that
can
on
you
their
can
own.
Some
talk
of it.
about
No, I
how
mean,
you can get guesting gigs and everything, but you cannot talk about the like pros and cons kind of thing.
No,
You know?
it would be a really good behind the like it would be a really good like stream to talk about like what it actually takes to
Yeah.
because I don't think
Yeah,
people
yeah, yeah.
understand that sometimes you apply and sometimes you just actually are a good person and people like you and want to be around you.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's really that simple.
As long as we get that time after where we get to talk about all the backstage stuff, the other stuff.
That's
That'll be
offline.
behind
though.
scenes.
That's the offline stuff.
you know, for most part, I've had no complaints.
Yeah, but there's this and that. I'd
I've
love
had
to
I've had
swap
one
stories.
complaint with one convention, but I will not say it. Brittany knows it.
That's a behind the scenes thing that we can talk about
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that
Same.
one
Yeah.
cosplayer who thought that they were something, and you're like, "Oh, hi, how are you?" And they're like,
Well, I've had problems with conventions themselves as well, and I would love to have those talks, but definitely an offline talk.
I will
Oh,
give
man.
this one because I don't mind this
Yeah.
one. So
Okay.
they tried to confiscate my heat gun. Security did.
Oh, was there? Wait, was I there for that
You
one?
were
No,
there.
that,
At
was
Mega.
I? They
At
wanted to
Mecca.
take her. They almost sent
Of
the
course
cops
they
to
would.
arrest us.
I was
They
like,
were,
no, I
they were
have
trying
to
to
get,
arrest us.
It's important. I need it.
A cop came
Well, she goes,
over and
"What
tried
is
to arrest us.
And I go, it's a heat gun. She goes, you can't bring a gun in here, ma'am. And I was like,
She called the police over, and lady
Okay,
goes, "Is there a
so-
problem here?" I'm like,
No.
"Whoa,
So-
I'm giving a panel on Warbla.
I'm a guest.
I
Multipass,
can't
multipass."
actually
Multipass. Multipass.
We're like, we're guests.
The one thing about Mega is there's
Multipass.
what's it called, staff? There's security.
Oh, the Orange County.
Yeah.
Oh my
they are.
god.
They're like ready to.
You're
shoot
not
you.
allowed to go out of certain doors. I'm like, I just want to leave, and they're like, no,
Multipass.
you have to walk all the way around.
Yeah, sign out to.
Yeah, I don't
I've
like
never
that. I
been,
don't like
so
when they
I
do
was
that.
like sitting here, and I'm just like, she's like, it's a gun. You can't bring a gun. And I was like, "Ma'am."
No.
I was like,
No.
So, I'm not gonna plug it into a wall and go, hold on. I need you to stand
wait.
perfectly still.
Freeze. Give me a sec.
No.
No.
If I said tattoo gun, would you think it was a gun? I'm just saying.
I'm like, I physically can't
Can you
do this
stand
panel
closer?
on Warbla.
It doesn't-
Like, what am I
you gotta
gonna do?
stand
I go, this is Warbla, guys.
Just go out into the Florida sun.
Yeah, hold on, I'll be right
Yeah,
back.
that would work. Like honestly, why do you even need a heat gun when you can
Yeah,
just
it's
use Florida?
Yeah.
We should probably.
I mean,
like, what else?
You
we
could just
gonna
use
talk-
Florida. I don't
I
know
do
what's
have
wrong
to
with
go.
you.
I actually
Yeah.
have seen my boob melt in the Florida sun.
No, you gotta double it up.
Double it up. All right.
Just double it up, it'll be fine.
I do have to go,
All right,
guys.
we should
It is
probably
10,
say
I have
goodbye to
go.
everybody because I'm pretty
Fine.
This is a goodbye. We know how to find each
All
other.
right.
Samir, you want to say goodbye? Give like your handle for like the 4 people.
Thank
that
you.
actually-
Thank you for coming to this. Like, I don't know what this was, but this was awesome and fun.
I agree.
I had
That was
fun.
awesome.
I like how he's just waking up and we're all just like,
He's
it's
like,
10
I don't know
o'clock.
what
it's like we're going to bed now.
I slept at 2, and then I was like, I have to wake in 2.5 hours. So I asked like multiple people to call me, like from from US.
how
I
he
was like,
started
please
his
call
day.
WhatsApp, call me to wake me up.
He started his day with this.
So-
and we're just finishing it.
But this is
all
awesome.
gonna
man.
be
And I
done.
You
have
can go take a nap now.
This is the
I have
highlight.
done a lot of this, to be honest. So it's okay. I mean, like, thank you everyone for being here, and I really appreciate you guys inviting me. And I had so much fun talking to all of you. I hope I have already met Brittany and Avera a lot of times, but I would really hope I get to meet like both of you also, like
Yeah.
sometime soon.
If you go to home
yeah.
Yeah.
for Curse
And,
SpongeBob.
Her
Ultimate
SpongeBob.
Dragon,
So-
Mega.
It just
all this
happened.
stuff.
I go by Samir Tikka Masala everywhere, like chicken tikka masala, paneer tikka masala, Samir Tikka Masala everywhere. And yeah, thank you so much.
He's a legend.
Awesome,
I'm
man.
Avera Cosplay. It's pretty much Avera Cosplay.
I know.
That thing behind me, you find it there. And I don't even know. I bring memes to your feed.
Bring it.
I do.
You have capitalized on that.
I have. It's my thing. It gets
It is your thing.
people share that stuff. I don't know.
Dragon Con all year round.
Yeah. It's my vibe. Brett,
Awesome.
go.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking everybody else goes and then I go. I am
Oh, you
Brittany
forgot
and
Class. I'm just going in order.
I am Brittany and I'm known as Gnoza Costuming, and you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, all the things as Gnoza Costuming. That's all I have to say, I think.
I am. By the way, there's my cat. He snuck in
Yeah,
here
he's
somehow.
been there a few minutes.
I'm
He's-
surprised my
he's-
cat didn't join me actually.
I think my kid came in a few times. You're fine.
Just a couple.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's Nugget. Okay, so I am Charmanda, and I am on Instagram as charmanda.cause. I don't post a lot, but I post progress of my armor builds.
Yay.
And I am Whole Skull Cosplay, and you can find me at Whole Skull Cosplay on Instagram. And if you need any commission builds or any costumes made, Whole Skull Studios, my website, and my Etsy store. And I'm more than happy to help you on your cosplay adventure.
Oh,
Yay.
wow. Great. And everybody is here because I just respect the hell out of them. And I
Aw.
thank you so much for joining me, honestly.
Oh.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye everybody.
Bye.
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 If you're watching this episode on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Comment below on what topics you would like to see us cover on future podcast episodes. Also, all episodes are available in audio format on all major podcast platforms. Thank you for tuning in.